and you're watching Law and Crime.
The jury will not be sequestered.
I'm Brian Buckmeyer, along with Terry Austin.
In the Weinstein case, fellow silence breakers and any
Selection is moving along here.
I'll read the verdict, says the Jesse Weber. Thanks for joining.
We don't tend to see it as raw as this.
Good evening and welcome.
Welcome to Law and Crime's afternoon session. My name is Bob Bianchi. I'll be taking it from 3 to 5. As you know, our main trial, fascinating, riveting case, Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. This is in day 7. As you know, Johnny Depp is suing for defamation and talking about physical abuse that he suffered. The defamation from a 2018 Washington Post article that was written by his former wife, Amber Heard, who is countersuing him for $100 million. Depp suing for $50 million. Depp has been on the stand for a considerable period of time. It's under cross-examination right now, so let's go back live to court.
This is, Mr. Depp, do you recognize this as another mirror on which you wrote with your in blood and paint after your finger injury in March of 2015?
Yes, sir. That's in the same bathroom.
Okay. Your Honor, move for admission of Exhibit 375 and request permission to publish.
No objection, Your Honor.
375 in evidence, publish.
Can we please pull up Exhibit 377, please? Mr. Depp, this is a picture of a lampshade that you wrote on after you sustained a finger injury on March 8th, 2015, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Your Honor, move for admission of Exhibit 377.
No objection.
All right, 377 in evidence, you can publish.
Permission to publish. And on this lampshade, which appears to be sitting on the ground, you write some mixture of blood or paint, "Good luck and be careful at top."
Yes, correct.
Correct?
Yes. I thought it was good advice.
Okay. Now, you have never, and I know Ms. Heard will give her account of this incident later in the trial. Just to be clear, you have never seen Amber inflict harm on herself or on her arms or anything like that, correct?
Objection compound.
Sustain.
You've never seen Amber inflict harm on herself?
That depends on your definition of harm, sir. That's quite a broad word.
Can you please pull up your UK testimony at page 434?
Objection, Your Honor. Maybe we approach?
Yes.
All right, here we go with the sidebars again, but it gives us an opportunity to get our great guest, Neama Rahmani is a former federal prosecutor, and Christa Ramey is with us, trial attorney. Guys, it's great to have you on the show. It's great. I'm actually back in the studio in New York City for the first time in 2 years on my 4-year anniversary of hosting, so I'm really glad that you guys are my special guests. Let me just, Christa, go with you real quick. What are you thinking so far of how the cross-examination of Depp is going?
I think that it's going very well. He's landing a lot of punches and not making Depp out to look like a very good human being.
Yeah, okay, listen, I'm told they're done with sidebar and they're back to testimony, so let's go back live.
On page 434.
You got to go to the top of page 435, so sorry if I wasn't clear. Let's go.
Oh, 435, okay.
Yeah, so the bottom of page 34, question, you have never seen her inflict harm on herself, on her arms, or anything like that during the time you were with her. And then the answer at the top of page 435 is no, no. Did I read that correctly?
You did.
Thank you. Now, you testified yesterday that when you went to the hospital that you told them that you had injured your finger in an accordion door. You remember giving that testimony?
Yes, I do.
That's actually not true, is it? You actually told the hospital that you had cut it off with a kitchen knife. Isn't that right?
No, that's not true.
Okay. Can you pull up Exhibit 360, please?
I believe there was one of my team who might have said that to the doctor, but that was not my, those were not my words. At any rate, we were looking to keep Amber's name out of it.
Mr. Depp, I'm not going to move this exhibit into evidence, but do you see the portion where it says, thanks for seeing and treating this patient? You see that? And then right after that, it said, he sustained an injury to his right middle finger tonight after accidentally cutting it with a kitchen knife. You see that?
I do see that.
And there's no mention of an accordion door in that document, is there?
I'll read it if you like, but that was, I didn't sign my name to this. And that's not my statement to them. I used the accordion door.
You testified yesterday that you told...
Then I can't help that.
You testified yesterday that you told Dr. Kipper that Ms. Heard had, in fact, been responsible for your finger injury. Do you remember giving that testimony?
Yes.
But in fact, in subsequent communications to Dr. Kipper, you referenced more than once that you chopped off your own finger to Dr. Kipper, correct?
I think the key word is chopped off my own finger. When you say to someone, I've chopped my finger off, that's just going straight to the fact. You don't get into, she did this, I did that, this, that. My finger's been chopped off.
Okay. Let's take a look at Exhibit 398, please. I'd like to direct your attention, sir, to the text message number 94, which is a text message from you to Dr. David Kipper on March 19th, 2015. Do you see that?
I will in a second.
Sure.
94. This is, yes, March 19th, so I was in Los Angeles, yes. Yes, I see the text.
Your Honor, I would move for the admission of this exhibit with just that text displayed and every identifier redacted.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, if we could do that redactions, please.
Thank you, Your Honor.
It was a pathetic attempt at humor. My apologies.
All right, 398 in evidence as redacted.
Just blow that up if you can a little bit more. Thank you. So in this text message from you to Dr. Kipper on March 19th, 2015, you text him, "My most sincere apologies to you, Doc. I understand your decision based on my immunity to do the right thing, and I truly do thank you for your concern. I must apologize for not having had the presence of mind to respect the man who has been the most kind and who has done more for me than anyone ever. There was no call for my spineless and base behavior toward you. I honestly understand the reasons for your concerns in your letter and can say to you now they no longer are an issue. Thank you for everything. I have chopped off my left middle finger as a reminder that I should never cut my finger off again. I love you, brother. Johnny." Did I read that right?
You did.
And Ms. Heard was not on that text message, was she?
No, she was not.
Can you take that down and put up Exhibit 499, please? And I'd like to direct your attention to item 39, the second text down, which is a text message exchange between you and Aaron Borum, Dr. Kipper's nurse, on October 31st, 2015. You see that?
Yes, I do.
Your Honor, I'd move for admission of this exhibit with just that text message.
No objection.
All right, if we could redact it.
And the appropriate redactions. Thank you.
All right, 499 in evidence with the redactions.
And in this text message from you to Dr. Kipper's nurse, Aaron Borum, in October of 2015, you say, and I'll just try to read the relevant parts, "Sent huge text to Kipper, no response. He's an odd duck, old Kipper. This is the second time that he's held off giving me meds by blackmailing me into seeing him. The first time, I had just chopped my finger off. Oh well, I want off of the majority of the stuff anyway. I guess that's a new way to stop. X." Did I read that right?
You did, sir.
And Amber is not on that text exchange, correct?
Nope, she's not.
Okay. I'd like to, if we can pull up Exhibit 343. I believe it's Plaintiff's Exhibit 343, and this is where you tell Amber in a recording that you mentioned the day I chopped my finger off. So let's listen to that, please.
Are you entering a 343 into evidence?
Yeah, I think it's plaintiffs. It's the same one that was played yesterday. I believe that was plaintiffs 343.
It's 343 already in evidence.
And just for the record, which portions are you playing?
Sure.
Okay. Which portion are you playing?
I'm playing 202:15 to 202:19. Is that right? I don't know if we'll be able to get it exactly right, so there's a second or two on either side, but we'll do our best.
That's fine.
Do we have the date of this recording? Mr. Rottenborn?
What's the date of the recording? I'm sorry.
I don't know. It's a plaintiff's exhibit. I don't know the date of the recording.
Okay.
Oh.
Fight you're talking about? I don't know.
I'm talking about Australia, the day that.
Now we're talking about Australia. Okay. Yes.
All right, Johnny Depp's second day on the witness stand, now under cross-examination. Probably can anticipate a long redirect examination, probably moving into tomorrow. We're going to take a quick break here on the Law and Crime Network. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
With Life Alert, one touch of a button can get you help fast.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Don't worry. Help is on the way.
With any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, and batteries never need charging.
I was having a stroke, and I was scared to death.
If it weren't for Life Alert, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Life Alert is a lifesaver.
My husband is alive because of Life Alert.
Life Alert is the lifesaver to keep me out of assisted living.
Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-314-4548. That's 1-800-314-4548. Call now, 1-800-314-4548.
This is Marianne's first time visiting Paris.
Madame, où allez-vous?
Before Marianne packed her bags, before she attempted her first sentence in French, before she completed her first 15-minute lesson,
Yes.
she downloaded Babbel. Babbel helped unlock her lifelong dream of learning French. She started speaking in just 3 weeks. So when it came time to tell the cab driver to take her to the Hotel Pierre,
J'aimerais aller à l'Hôtel Pierre.
Oh, c'est très bien. J'espère que votre voyage s'est bien passé.
150 language experts and educators designed Babbel to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language. Babbel focuses on natural conversation. You'll remember what you learn, and you can speak and pronounce with confidence. Start speaking a new language in 3 weeks. Try it for free at Babbel.com.
Everything you've seen me do was made possible by what you don't see. We all have the strength to see what's possible. It's up to us to unlock it. Tonal, be your strongest.
It wasn't Meta's fault that yo-yo dieting failed her. Calibrate works with her biology to end an unsustainable cycle. Medication, coaching, lifestyle tweaks. Lose at least 10% of your body weight or your money back. Join Calibrate.com.
What are my stats? Well, my investments are tracking up, my house will be paid off in 12 years, and I'll retire at 61. Take control of your finances with Quicken. Try risk-free for 30 days.
Letting go of my diamond ring was really hard, but selling it for the best price was simple with Worthy.com. They evaluate your jewelry to help you understand what it's actually worth. Then they auction it to their network of professional buyers. Get more for your jewelry with Worthy.com.
I'm Sean Stix Larkin, and you're watching Law and Crime.
Welcome back. While we were on break, you may be surprised, but we were back at another sidebar. I misspoke. I said testimony will be tomorrow, probably continuing with Depp. Tomorrow is dark, so it'll probably be sometime next week. Neama, let me go to you about this. I've been saying this from the beginning of this trial, and people in the beginning thought I was kind of maybe a little crazy about this, but there's more than just winning a lawsuit that's at stake here. The standard and the burden that Johnny Depp has to overcome, given him being a public figure, is very high. But doesn't he win just by getting out a counter narrative for 6 years? He's been trying to get out to show that Amber is not necessarily the person who was victimized so much, because she was participating in it as well, and the case certainly doesn't make her look good. Could this be really a trial in the court of public opinion, and irrespective of whether Johnny Depp wins or not, he wins?
Absolutely, Bob. This is a case about Johnny's reputation. He's trying to resurrect his career. I mean, no one here in Hollywood is going to touch him. Now, the question is, if he loses this case and loses again after losing in the UK, going up on appeal and losing there, is there any chance he's going to be acting again? I don't think so, Bob, at least not for any of the major studios.
Yeah, Christa, so, you know, he made a very interesting comment that once the article came out, he said, quote, "I lost then." In other words, he lost everything. His reputation was destroyed. It was a global event. So to the point that I'm making, that you kind of can't lose, at least if you want to balance that playing field, because a lot of the court of public opinion, when you read social media, is very, very critical of Amber Heard in this particular situation. So, you know, maybe it does do something for his career or not. What are your thoughts about that?
I'm not sure that it does, because what we're learning now during the course of this trial is all of the details and the bad that really happened. And I think that, you know, that all goes to his damages ultimately. You know, how, you know, damaged was his career by this op-ed? And the op-ed doesn't even mention Amber by name. But right now we're hearing, you know, details of his life that are just not pleasing at all, lying on insurance forms, you know, for production companies that are trying to insure this actor even, you know. So I think that it puts a lot of risks for studios, and that doesn't fare well for Johnny Depp.
Yeah, and maybe it's not about that. Maybe it's about his friends and the public opinion, so on and so forth. We don't know, but certainly it hasn't been a flattering picture of her as well. And unlike him, there's actual receipts with regard to videotapes and things of that nature that weren't too flattering towards Amber Heard. So they're on break right now. That gives us an opportunity to go back and crystallize the most important aspects of the case. And part of that was Johnny Depp on cross-examination this morning, where we heard from the attorney who read text between Depp and actor Paul Bettany. Let's listen to that and try to figure out why it was, although it'd probably be rather obvious that the lawyer was getting this out on cross.
In this text, Mr. Depp, you text Mr. Bettany, "Let's burn Amber," 3 exclamation points, right? You see that?
I do see that.
And at this time, June 11, 2013, Amber is your girlfriend, or perhaps even your fiance at this point, correct?
Girlfriend, yeah, for sure.
And you didn't stop when you said, "Let's burn Amber," because the next text down, you can move down and blow up the next text, please, Michelle. You say, "Let's drown her before we burn her," 3 exclamation points. Did I read that right?
Yes, it's referring to the text prior to.
You didn't stop when you said, "Let's drown her before we burn her." After that, you made another comment, and I'd like to apologize to the court and to the jury for some of the language that I'm going to have to use today, but unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of documents with language like this. After you said, "Let's drown her before we burn her," Mr. Depp, you said, "I will her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she is dead." That's what you said that you would do after you burned her and after you drowned her. Did I read that right?
You certainly did, yes.
And you wrote that about the woman who would later become your wife?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Can you, on May 30th, 2014, you texted Mr. Bettany, just a little bit smaller. You texted Mr. Bettany, "I'm going to properly stop the booze thing, darling. Drank all night before I picked Amber up to fly to LA this past Sunday. Ugly, mate. No food for days. Powders. Half a bottle of whiskey. 1,000 Red Bull and vodkas. Pills. 2 bottles of champers on plane. And what do you get? An angry aggro engine in a fucking blackout, screaming obscenities and insulting any fuck who got near. I'm done. I'm admittedly too fucked in the head to spray my rage at the one I love." Read that again. "I'm admittedly too fucked in the head to spray my rage at the one I love. For little reason as well. I'm too old to be that guy, but pills are fine." Did I read that right?
Yes, you did.
Neil, what do you think of these comments? Something tells me they could cut both ways. People text and say things all the time in very colorful ways, especially when they're talking to friends. But he's basically saying, "I'm not that kind of guy." Is that the kind of text that could cut both ways? Or is just this basic character assassination that's going to make this jury hate him?
I don't think they're good for Johnny, Bob. And I know the Johnny super fans have explanations as to, look, this is just banter between friends. But there are 2 key pieces of evidence that Amber Heard's team has been pounding, both in the pretrial filings and an opening statement. These disparaging text messages, right? You're talking about your girlfriend, your future wife, and they're really violent acts, setting aside how vile they are. And the other is the drug and alcohol abuse. You know, people have strong feelings about that. You know, we don't know how these jurors are going to, really respond to that. But this is something that is important, at least from Amber Heard's perspective, because it's something that they've been emphasizing the whole entire trial.
Christa, let me talk to you about the idea that the thing is that these texts are not being given to Amber Heard. There's nothing that suggests in the record that we know so far. These are between 2 individuals, so I'm not even sure if you could even call this a domestic violent related offense. Does that make a difference? And this drug and alcohol connection, which is he takes drugs and alcohol, therefore he's a domestic abuser, is that going to work?
I don't think that that's how they're using that evidence. I think that the drugs and alcohol evidence, it was so prolific that it goes to Johnny Depp's damages. So in a defamation case, what he's suing for is a damage to his reputation and his ability to get work. And I think that evidence is really going to that portion of the case. I don't know that you could make a connection, drug and alcohol user, therefore abuser. I think that would be character evidence. It would be excluded by the court for use in that purpose. Now, can a jury draw those conclusions because the evidence is being offered? Judges make instructions all the time on how to use specific pieces of evidence that are made for a limited or offered for a limited purpose. But whether or not the jury actually does that is a different story.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this as well is the defense lawyer definitely honing in on the term blackout that's being used, which I think is going to be saying he may not have even known that he was being domestically abusive. Johnny Depp clearly wanted to get away from saying that he was blacked out, I think for obvious reasons. All right, guys, thanks very much. We're waiting for that break to get done with. We have 2 great commentators with us. We'll be back with more Law and Crime's afternoon session on the other end of the break. Please stay with us.
Welcome to Law and Crime. Thanks for joining us here on our continued live coverage of the Derek Chauvin trial.
Find the defendant guilty.
Brooklyn Center, a young man was shot and killed by a police officer.
I just know that I hurt her by doing that. I didn't want to hurt anybody.
Kyle Rittenhouse is going to take the stand.
You should have come and asked.
3 men face life in prison if convicted in the death of 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery.
Greg McMichael said, "Stop, I'll blow your head off."
Robert Durst's lawyers have repeatedly asked for a mistrial.
I did not kill Susan Berman, but if I had, I would lie about it.
I'm Dan Abrams.
I'm Terry Austin.
I'm Brian Buckmeyer.
I'm Brian Ross.
I'm Jesse Weber.
And you're watching Law and Crime.
Aren't you glad for innovation? Things that used to be big and bulky, well, now they fit in your pocket. Even your hose. From the makers of the #1 expandable hose in the world comes another amazing pocket hose, the Silver Bullet. It's making other hoses obsolete. Look, that old hose is a pain in the grass. But the new Silver Bullet is the hassle-free hose. Just turn on the water and the Silver Bullet inflates from pocket size to supersize. It's the hands-free hose that grows and grows. Now, turn off the water and it shrinks back to a super light pocket hose. It's putting itself away. The other hose, it just sits there. No more dragging heavy hoses, no flipping and whipping to clear the kinks. The Silver Bullet will never kink. I mean, come on, look at that. Now that's a kink. Look at the water pressure. The exclusive bullet shell outer casing resists snagging and tearing and wearing. It easily maneuvers around the garden without crushing your plants. The machine aluminum connectors make it safe for drinking. It's the lightest hose I've ever owned. Come on, dump that heavy hose and grab a pocket hose. Get your 25-foot pocket hose Silver Bullet today. Still just $19.99. You also get our adjustable bullet nozzle, a $20 value, absolutely free. Powerful enough to make all that equipment look like new again. Our new pocket hose works as hard as you do. Hold on, order now and you can double it to 2. Just pay a separate fee. This offer is not available on Amazon, so make sure it's legit and not a counterfeit. Get the original pocket hose Silver Bullet today.
To order, call 1-800-530-5078. That's 1-800-530-5078 or visit silverbullethose.com. So call 1-800-530-5078 or visit silverbullethose.com. Don't wait, order now.
Calibrate is a doctor-guided weight loss program that combines virtual doctor visits, FDA-approved medication, and one-on-one video coaching to reset your metabolic system. Get back in control of your weight and your health with Calibrate. Sign up today at joincalibrate.com.
What are my stats? Well, my investments are tracking up, my house will be paid off in 12 years, and I'll retire at 61. Take control of your finances with Quicken. Try risk-free for 30 days.
Personal Capital wants to know, do you have a plan for your finances?
I have a plan for retirement.
For college savings?
For investing?
I can see all of my accounts and my investments.
All my investments and more in one place.
I feel good about my finances. Finally. Download the free Personal Capital app today. You can feel good about your finances, and Personal Capital is here to help. Visit personalcapital.com today.
I'm Brian Ross, and you're watching Law and Crime.
Welcome back. My name is Bob Bianchi. If you're just joining us, we're doing the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. They're on a very short break, and this judge has been very, very particular. We're starting on time, so we should be starting back with court anytime soon. So I have my guests ready to go, but we also have a clip, very interesting, day 2 that Johnny Depp is on the stand. It's likely he's going to wind up going into day 3 at some point in time because the cross-examination is very long, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of redirect. Let's listen to a little bit of the cross-examination this morning from the attorney and watch where he went with this.
Morning, Mr. Depp.
Morning, Mr. Rodenborn.
Yes, 2 days ago, when you first took the stand, you discussed your upbringing and some of the abuse that you suffered at the hands of your mother. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And you testified how she abused you physically, right?
Yes, sir.
Throwing things at you, hitting you.
Yeah, there was quite a, various forms of physical abuse.
And she abused you verbally by insulting you and your siblings, right?
Yes, she did.
And you testified that sometimes that verbal abuse, that emotional abuse was worse than the beatings, right? Do you remember that?
As a child, it has more of an opportunity to plant itself in your head.
Sure.
Yes.
So you'd agree that abuse can take many forms. It can be physical, can be verbal, can be emotional, right?
Indeed.
You testified that your dad wasn't abusive, but that you saw him punch walls when he was in an argument with your mother sometimes, right?
Excuse me. I witnessed my father, the only reaction that would be called a physical reaction from the abuse he was very stoically taking from my mother. I saw him maybe twice, 3 times, punch a wall. Once, as I said, once he punched the corner of the wall, and I watched his hand basically shatter.
Your walls weren't the only thing that your father punched, were they? In fact, once he punched you in the face and knocked you down, didn't he?
Yes, when I was 15 years old. This was just before I'd dropped out of high school. One morning, yes, in my mind, I was done with school. So he had asked me to, I believe it was something, it was very, he asked me to take the dog for a walk or something, or take out the garbage, something menial, something strange. And I just said, no. And he just gave me a quick shot, pretty hefty. And it rattled my head, it rattled the cage, you know, Tweety birds and stuff, sure.
So the jury hadn't heard about that before. When he punched you in the face, it actually knocked you to the ground. And then when you got up, you were all too happy to take care of what he wanted you to take care of, right?
I was excited to take care of it at that point.
And yesterday, I believe that you testified, why would you hit someone to make them agree with you? It doesn't work. You gave that testimony yesterday, didn't you?
Yes.
So, Christa, what is the value of this testimony? They went very extensively into this abusive relationship that Johnny Depp is testifying with respect to his mother being emotionally violent, physically violent, and the father just kind of taking it and then one day just got up and left the home. Why is that coming out? What's the relevance?
I'm not sure I've got that flushed out in my head yet. I think that does have to do with there's some inconsistencies in his testimony. You know, Johnny Depp brought this out in his direct examination, so it is being now addressed in cross-examination. And why he wanted that out there, I think maybe to show that he was abused and harmed his whole life. You know, that's kind of the narrative that maybe explains his drug use and abuse. And it explains how he reacted with Amber Heard with respect to, beating up hotel rooms and punching walls instead of her. So I guess that's kind of where that is fitting in. But where you're hitting it on cross, you're seeing some inconsistencies. You know, so Johnny Depp said, "My father never hit me," but yet his father did hit him. Right. And I, if you hit someone, they're not going to respond positively to you. And in this case, Johnny Depp responded positively to his father after he hit him. So I think that's kind of where it's going on cross-examination.
Yeah, Neama, I don't know how you feel about this, but it was kind of interesting testimony when he said his father wasn't abusive to him, but then would take him to a garage or a shed or whatever it was, and bring out that white 70s belt. And strike him. I mean, kind of sounds very abusive. Like he didn't really look at that as big abuse. That's just like maybe minor abuse. But I'm curious as to what your thoughts are in terms of where he's going with this, because part of the testimony also was that he learned to walk away in these circumstances, which is also part of what you hear in Amber Heard's recorded statement about him walking away. Do you think there's the connective tissue that this is what he learned as a survival mechanism?
I think so, Bob, but I think it has to do with the two really big issues in this case. This isn't a case about, DNA or forensic evidence or experts. It's a case about likability and credibility. Who's more likable and who's more credible, either Johnny Depp or Amber Heard. And there's a lot of people that really like Johnny Depp. He's presenting very well, and he's telling the story about how he's been a victim his entire life, primarily his mother, and then later, well, his father, of course, as well, but really Amber Heard, and he is the victim of domestic violence. I'm not saying the jury's necessarily going to buy that, and it may be just acting by an amazing actor, but I think that's why he's going the direction he is in this case.
Well, part of maybe what Christa was getting to is alluding to the alcohol and drug abuse, and maybe there's connective tissues with regard to that, and there was some testimony. Let's go to it.
When you first started seeing Amber, you had you filmed the Rum Diary, but then you went a couple years without being involved, and then you saw each other on the press tour for the movie, right?
That's correct.
And when you first started seeing her after that couple-year period of not seeing her, you had just been checked out of a New York hospital where you had been for a couple days to fight alcohol use, correct?
Yes.
And you were drinking, you were abusing alcohol toward the end of your relationship with your prior partner, Vanessa Paradis, correct?
I was drinking.
You were drinking pretty heavily.
Were you there?
It's my question to you, sir.
No, I wasn't drinking that heavily.
Let's turn to the UK
It's
116,
definition,
please.
what you define as heavily, sir.
Let's just look at what you said before. Let's go to page 116 of the UK transcript, please. Question is, I think one of the problems in that relationship was your alcohol and drug addiction, misuse, if you prefer that word. Answer, I would definitely say towards the end of my relationship with Miss Paradis, the mother of my children, it was a very painful time to break up with someone that you have been with for 14 years and that you have 2 children with. So it was a very painful time, and I was more than likely trying to numb myself as much as possible. Question, am I right in saying that you agree that you were abusing alcohol and drugs, but you have explained why? Answer, I would say that I was abusing alcohol. I do not know that I was abusing drugs, but I was abusing alcohol for sure, yes. Did I read that right?
You did.
And there was a time in the early stages of your relationship with Amber when you explained to her that you weren't drinking alcohol at that time because you had a problem with your liver, correct?
Yes, there was there was concern over the numbers, as they call it, over my about my liver.
And you shared that with Amber, right?
Yes, I did.
And Amber, early on in your relationship, throughout your relationship, she didn't love the fact that you were drinking and using drugs, correct? You've testified to that many times,
Objection calls for speculation as to what is in Ms. Heard's mind.
I'll sustain us to that point if you want to rephrase.
You understood that Ms. Heard was not happy with you overusing alcohol or overusing drugs, correct?
From the very beginning?
Yeah, she was trying to be supportive of your sobriety, correct?
No, sir.
Yeah, the cross-examination went extensively into that particular issue, but we're going to have to cut that off right now because I'm being told we're live in court with the continued cross-examination of Johnny Depp. Let's go to it.
So, they're both 380, so take your pick. So we'll get it to you. How about that?
Oh, joy. Okay. All right, three, somebody's, we're going to go with claim is 380 right now, okay? Try to keep the record clear. 380A and 33 to 34. Okay, go ahead.
What you are and who you are and how you fucked me over and make me feel sick of myself. There's still a lot left in the day. Maybe you should dye your hair. I see your roots.
That's your voice in that audio recording, Mr. Depp, correct?
It is indeed, sir.
Now, we talked a little bit about what you wrote on the one mirror when you said Billy Bob Thornton and Easy Amber. Remember seeing that picture a few minutes ago?
I do.
And we talked about how Amber had just been in London filming a film with Billy Bob Thornton, correct?
That's correct.
Now, when you were apart from her, she would want to socialize with other people, and that made you feel insecure, right?
Compound and speculative.
All right, compound, sustains to compound.
Okay. When you were apart, she would want to socialize with other people, right?
Yes, I suppose at times, yes.
And that occasionally made you feel insecure, didn't it?
Not necessarily, no.
Let's look at page 257 of your UK transcript, please. I think that's day 2.
Day 2. $330. What was the number again? I'm sorry.
Sure, no problem. It's day 2, page 257.
257.
So it's page 23 of the document.
All right, as they get their paperwork and transcripts together, good time for a break. We're going to be back on the other end with more of this cross-examination. Please stay with us.
Funerals can be emotionally devastating for a family to go through. Besides the sorrow, loved ones are left with the high cost of arranging a funeral. Funeral Advantage was formed to help protect your family when they need it most. It pays your loved ones up to $20,000 immediately for funeral and any other expenses.
It's a good feeling to know that my family will be taken care of if anything happens to me.
Funerals can easily cost $9,000 or more, but government benefits pay only $255, leaving your loved ones to pay the rest.
It's so easy. Just answer a few simple health questions. This is so affordable, even for someone like me who's on a fixed income.
If you're 40 to 85, get information on how to protect your family. Funeral Advantage is something we all need. There's no risk or obligation. Call now.
Get the facts about how easy it is to protect your family. Call 800-852-0564. That's 800-852-0564.
At Finger Hut, we don't define you by your credit score. We celebrate you being you by offering lower monthly payments than traditional buy now, pay later options on stuff you need, things you love, and brands you trust as you build your credit history with a Finger Hut Fedi credit account. If you're looking for electronics, kitchen essentials, clothes, toys, and more, you'll find it all at Finger Hut. You do you, and we'll help build your credit at fingerhut.com.
Finger Hut credit accounts are issued by WebBank, member FDIC.
Letting go of my diamond ring was really hard, but selling it for the best price was simple with Worthy.com. They evaluate your jewelry to help you understand what it's actually worth. Then they auction it to their network of professional buyers. Get more for your jewelry with Worthy.com.
There are courtrooms all across the country where people go when they fear for their safety.
He was actually the one stalking me.
He tried to kill me, so it was an attempted murder on my life.
Domestic violence judges provide aid to those who need it most.
I'm in fear.
Their rulings are a last resort for thousands of victims, all seeking the court's protection.
I don't want any more problems with you.
In Protection Court.
Do you have a box of videotapes, film reels, or photos that are degrading?
Legacy Box professionally converts them to DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
Legacy Box is simple and safe, with over 1 million satisfied customers.
Visit legacybox.com today and get 50% off.
I'm Dan Abrams, and you're watching Law and Crime.
Okay, continue cross-examination of Johnny Depp. Third day on the stand, second day of cross-examination. Let's go back live to court.
In movies, I become jealous and fucking crazy and weird, and we fight a lot more.
Mr. Depp, in that audio, you say, I become irrational when you're doing movies. I become jealous, fucking crazy, and weird, and we fight a lot more. You heard that, right?
Yeah, something to that effect, yeah.
You can take that down. I'd like to fast forward, Mr. Depp, to December 15th, 2015. I know there's been some testimony on that day for the jury. And you and Ms. Heard, you gave some testimony yesterday about an altercation that you had that evening. Do you remember giving that testimony?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember?
It was evening, I'm not sure.
Yeah. And, okay. You would agree that after this altercation that you had, that you wrote on the countertop in your penthouse at the ECB in like a gold Sharpie. Remember that?
Very well, yes.
Okay. And your counsel has showed a picture to you that allegedly was taken that day. I'd like to pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 409, which was shown to the witness yesterday, I believe, Your Honor.
Okay. That's Plaintiff's 409 was already in evidence, so we'll go ahead and publish it.
Is there a, it's the, yeah, there we go. Mr. Depp, and the jury will hear more about this as the case goes on, but do you recognize this picture of Ms. Heard as a picture that was taken directly after the December 15th, 2015 incident?
I don't know when it was. I don't know when the photograph was taken. I don't know much about it.
Okay.
I was out of the picture.
You can take that down. In any event, you don't disagree that that there was a headbutt that evening. That I know that there's disagreement about the cause of it, but you would agree that that you headbutted Ms. Heard that evening, correct?
No, I would vehemently disagree with that, sir. There was a lot of. I was trying to restrain Ms. Heard, and once I had restrained her, I would say if she's trying to still move around and kick at me or trying to get loose, any sort of movement when you're like this and your heads are together, this close together, it's not impossible for them to bump, but a headbutt is that's pretty extreme.
Okay, let's take a listen to Exhibit 587. I believe that's Defendant's Exhibit 587. And Your Honor, this is one of the recordings that is just the two parties, Amber and Mr. Depp, and we would propose to play 8:45 through 9:20.
All right. Is this whole 587 coming into evidence, the whole tape, or just that portion?
Yes, we propose the whole tape come in.
And to the extent that the tape is all just the two parties,
and
that's fine.
just the two parties in this tape?
I believe so, Your Honor.
I believe.
Yes. I mean, we'll confirm, but for right now, I would just like to get this part into evidence. If we can have tonight, we'll confirm with you tomorrow that the whole thing is just the two of them. That's my understanding.
All right. Well, so right now I can only put 587A in, and the minutes are, what were the minutes again?
8:45 to 9:20.
8:45 to 9:20. Okay, that portion's in evidence at the moment. Okay.
Depp to say your allegations in your civil complaint deal with what happened from the Washington Post article and afterwards, nothing that happened beforehand where allegedly a lot of this abusive conduct occurred. Talk to me about why that was. Was it a statute of limitations reason they couldn't go into that other stuff? We got 30 seconds, 20 seconds.
I don't know the answer to that question, but I do know that whether or not a statute was involved, but it probably goes to whether the truth. Whether or not the allegations were true or not. And that is an absolute defense to defamation.
Right. Well, very interesting because certainly the lawyer wanted to hammer that away, making it an important point, and I think it was an important one. Okay, thank you, Christa, very much. We appreciate it. We're going to take a break. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Pretty normal mom life. Everything was pretty good, and it was a very happy life.
And we just had a new baby. And then all of a sudden, within a day or two, she's on life support and fighting for her life.
And I knew something was pretty wrong. A little less than a week after I came home, I couldn't breathe. That's when we decided to go to the hospital. I was given the diagnosis that I had peripartum cardiomyopathy, which is basically a pregnancy-induced heart failure. They told me my only chance was a heart transplant.
And the American Heart Association helped make that possible. Their research helped save me.
This could not happen without monthly donations from friends like you. Your sustained support helps fund life-saving research that leads to medical breakthroughs, like those that gave Jen a second chance at life. Heart disease is the #1 killer in America, and we urgently need your help to save lives. Go to helpheart.org or call now to become a monthly donor today. Your donation of only $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, will make a difference through prevention, early detection, treatments, and cures that help save lives.
I am very thankful for the American Heart Association. I'm grateful for just every day that I get with my children.
Please go to helpheart.org or call now with your donation of just $19 a month. Join our community of monthly donors, and you'll get this limited edition t-shirt you could wear to show you're helping save lives.
One simple act today can save your life or the life of a loved one.
So please, call or go to helpheart.org now to help save lives.
Never be afraid of your strength, because your body is capable of amazing things. Own your strength and see how far it takes you. Tonal, be your strongest.
Magic in a stick. Boomstick Trio. Glow, glimmer, and color. Wonderful stick of moisture. The Boomstick color stuff is super creamy.
Boom Glimmer, bling for your face.
I look like me, but I've got a glow.
Calibrate is a doctor-guided weight loss program that combines virtual doctor visits, FDA-approved medication, and one-on-one video coaching to reset your metabolic system. Get back in control of your weight and your health with Calibrate. Sign up today at joincalibrate.com.
What are my stats? Well, my investments are tracking up, my house will be paid off in 12 years, and I'll retire at 61. Take control of your finances with Quicken. Try risk-free for 30 days.
Hi, folks. Medicare Part C plans with extra benefits like getting money added back to your Social Security check may now be available to you in your zip code. Make sure you're not missing out. It's simple. 1, call the number on your screen. 2, they'll look up your zip code and see if you're eligible. 3, they'll check for plans with extra benefits like prescriptions, dental coverage, and the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every single month. Call now.
I called to get everything I deserve.
I called to check my zip code for a plan with a benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I called to check my zip code.
Millions of people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline. Call, check your zip code, see if you're eligible, and get what you deserve. Call now.
Call 800-640-0342. That's 800-640-0342.
I'm Brian Buckmeyer, and you're watching Law and Crime.
Okay, Neama, I'm going to go to that last question and give you an opportunity because on break you told me you had an answer as to why it was the defense lawyer was crossing Johnny Depp about the allegations that you're bringing forward are always from 2018 with the Washington Post article and not all this other stuff about abuse. And you have some insights into that. Talk to me.
Yeah, Bob. So in 2016, Amber Heard filed for a restraining order, and her and Depp separated. And as part of that separation agreement, Johnny Depp paid Amber Heard $7 million, and the parties executed a release, including any of these defamation claims. So it has to be conduct that occurred after 2016. That's the only thing at issue in this case.
Real quick, Neama, do you expect on redirect examination, however, the lawyer to clean that up to say that there was a reason why that wasn't brought in this lawsuit, at least to explain that? Because it kind of makes it look like Depp is kind of making stuff up.
Well, I don't know if it was the subject of a motion in limine, right? So I don't know if the judge excluded any of these defamatory statements, at least alleged defamatory statements, outside of the relevant period, right, 2016 before. So if it hasn't been excluded, absolutely, you would expect the lawyers to clear that up for the jurors because they may be asking the same question we are.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. I really appreciate that insight. Okay, they are live right now on cross-examination of Johnny Depp. Again, it's third day he's on the stand, second day that he's being cross-examined, and it's obviously going to go a lot longer. Let's go back live to court.
Yes, yes, that's from me to David Heard.
Your Honor, move for admission of 580. Just that text is all I want to ask the witness about.
No objection, but with the redactions of the phone numbers.
Of course.
All right. 580 entered in evidence with redactions.
Thank you, Your Honor. So in this text message, Mr. Depp, that you sent on December 30th, 2015, you tell him, Amber's father, below is a text that I never hit send on from a week or so again. It was in response to you. Hey, brother, I love you too, more than you can ever imagine. It's rare in life when one meets a kindred spirit, a couple of madmen with their thirst for further. There have only been maybe 3 people in my entire life of your ilk. You're a rare specimen and our friendship means everything. Yes, I fucked up and went too far in our fight. I cannot and will not excuse my part inside these dramas. But I can promise you with all confidence, they will never happen again. My most sincere apologies if I've let you down. Love you, brother. Did I read that right?
You did read that right, yes.
And so, in this text, sent on December 30th, you're telling David Heard that you messed up and went too far in a fight.
It doesn't say physical fight.
And in the audio
fights can be arguments.
Sure. And in the audio that we just heard, Amber's talking to you about people seeing her injuries from December 15th and how she hid them from your kids during Christmas.
Objection, hearsay.
Is that right? We just listened to...
I know, but I'll sustain the objection to that question. Next question.
Okay. After you came back from Australia, you and Amber saw, you can take that down. Thanks. You and Amber saw someone by the name of Dr. Amy Banks. You joined her by Skype. Do you remember that?
The only time that I've ever seen Dr. Amy Banks was on a video link from Australia.
Right. And you saw her for a joint session with Amber, correct?
Yes.
And then you saw her individually for a session as well. Do you recall that?
Yes, a brief session, as far as I remember, yeah.
And during the joint session with Dr. Banks, you didn't contradict Amber's reporting that you were violent toward her, correct?
All right.
If he contradicted that.
Now I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
We're going to jump around a little bit in time here, Mr. Depp. Earlier today, you recall that we talked about March of 2013, and you saw the picture with the cocaine box that said property of JD. You remember that?
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay. I'd like to show you a few documents here. Michelle, can you pull up Defendant's Exhibit 159, please? 159. And Mr. Depp, what I'm going to ask you about is the second text down. It's the text from you to someone named Sis, who I think you testified was, you said at first it was Christy, but I think you then testified that it was Whitney Heard, correct?
Sis is always Whitney. Okay. I call my sister Christy something else, another nickname.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd move for this is a text from you to Whitney on March 9th, 2013, correct? You see that?
What am I supposed to see? I'm sorry.
The second, the text, two down, is a text from you to Whitney, dated March 9th, 2013.
Yes, I see that, yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I would move for the admission of this Exhibit 159 with that text and then the second and third text from the bottom, please. With the appropriate redactions on everything else.
May we approach, Your Honor? Sure.
Michael Koribanics is a law and crime analyst and a certified criminal trial attorney. Good friend of mine. We were baby prosecutors together. Michael, back in Jersey, right? Back in the day. So what are you thinking of the testimony so far? And I want to keep in mind, I've been asking all of my guests from the beginning of this trial the same thing. You know, he made an interesting comment, Depp, during his cross-examination when he said, when the article was published, I lost then. That was his point of view. Could it be that even though that high burden that he's got to go forward with in the Sullivan standard with regard to public figures and defamation, they know it's a hard standard, but he's basically bloodying up, if you will, Amber Heard for over 6 years. That story has not gotten out because there are certainly some unflattering things, if not, that she was equally abusive, if not more. Could that really be the scheme here? You win even if you lose?
I think it may be, Bob. And I also think there's another aspect of this that Johnny Depp may be looking for. and it really struck me when I saw him testify, is that he's been very candid about things and what he did. He doesn't seem to mitigate. He may explain things differently, but I think what he's also doing is saying that, life's not perfect. I've gone through these struggles, and some of these struggles, such as my addiction, I've come forth and tried to accomplish something and overcome it, but it's a constant fight. So I think there's a lot of aspects to this, but I think he just is really trying to put forth is this is not such a clear-cut incident when you have relationships with people and when you have one of those people who are dealing with substance abuse problems. So it's an interesting aspect of what they're doing here.
Yeah. All right, Mike, I'm told that they're resuming cross-examination, so let's go back live to court.
Stuff. I do the same right back, and nada. So I just want to know that she is safe. I've heard nothing, just worried about her, XXX JD. Did I read that right?
Yes.
Okay. So that text was sent on March 9th, 2013. With that in mind, could you please pull up Defendant's Exhibit 161? Can you scroll? Yeah, no, here we go. Do you see 4 texts or 5 texts up from the bottom? There's a text exchange between you and Miss Heard. You see that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And this is sent on March 12th, 2013.
Okay, yes, sir.
Which, if I'm doing my calculation right, was Tuesday, March 12th, 2013. And in the top text, you write, just thought you should know that there exists a book titled Disco Bloodbath. That's all. You see that? Did I read that right?
Yes, you did.
Your Honor, I'd move to move for the admission of this exhibit with those texts.
When you say those texts, which ones? Just
those 4. The text exchange between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard.
okay. Any objection to that?
We have no objection to the omission of the 4 text messages between Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard on that
so
date.
So make those redactions?
Yeah.
All right. 161 in evidence with the redactions. You can publish.
Thank you, Your Honor. So we'll just focus on the text. So we can see the top text is from you to Ms. Heard. And you say, just thought you should know that there exists a book titled Disco Bloodbath. That's all. And Amber wrote you back and said, we need that book, exclamation point. And you wrote back and said, is it about last Friday night? I'm sorry. I got it wrong.
I think you're yeah.
Amber writes you and says, we need that book. And then she writes you and says, is it about last Friday night by any chance? And you write, how can you make me smile about such a hideous moment? Yes, it is. Funny bitch. I fucking love you, you cunt. You wrote that on Tuesday, March 12th, 2013, referring to the previous Friday night, March 8th, 2013, correct?
I believe that the subject I sent her that text that there exists a book called Disco Bloodbath from a bookstore that I was in. She said, we need the book, asked me about if it was about last Friday. I believe that I have a very different opinion of what that Friday was than you do, and I
Well, your counsel can ask you about that, and I'm sure Ms. Hurd will
think that's
testify
when
to
we'll
that.
get into that, yes.
But my question to you is, you're writing, when you're referring to such a hideous moment, you're responding to Ms. Hurd's text is it about last
Let's
Friday
take a
night?
quick break. You're watching Law and Crime's afternoon session. We'll be right back.
This is Mary Ann's first time visiting Paris.
Madame, où allez-vous?
Before Mary Ann packed her bags, before she attempted her first sentence in French, before she completed her first 15-minute lesson,
Yes.
she downloaded Babbel. Babbel helped unlock her lifelong dream of learning French. She started speaking in just 3 weeks. So when it came time to tell the cab driver to take her to the Hotel Pierre,
J'aimerais aller à l'Hôtel Pierre.
Oh, c'est très bien. J'espère que votre voyage s'est bien passé.
150 language experts and educators designed Babbel to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language. Babbel focuses on natural conversation. You'll remember what you learn, and you can speak and pronounce with confidence. Start speaking a new language in 3 weeks. Try it for free at Babbel.com.
Something's bothering my stomach. I could cut out a lot of foods or figure out what's actually bothering me before removing and adding back. I'll do that.
I'm not ready to lose my hair. Not now. But I never thought there was a real solution. Now I use Keeps, the easiest way to keep my hair. And I can get my treatment without leaving the couch. Go to Keeps.com to learn more.
With Bonfire, you can easily fundraise by selling custom shirts online, upload your artwork, or create a design right on our website. In these unique times, you can still make a difference. Fundraise with custom shirts today on bonfire.com.
If you've ever considered getting a walk-in tub, we have great news. For a limited time, when you purchase a Safe Step walk-in tub, we'll upgrade your order to include a free shower package. Yes, a free shower package. With Safe Steps Shower Package, you can conveniently shower in your brand new walk-in tub. And if you call today, you'll also receive $1,600 off your entire order. Now, you can finally enjoy the best of both worlds with the therapeutic benefits of a warm, soothing bath that can help increase mobility, relieve pain, boost energy, and improve sleep. Or if you prefer, you can take a safe, refreshing shower all in one amazing product. Call today to receive your free shower package, plus $1,600 off the price of your brand new Safe Step walk-in tub.
That's 1-800-868-9326. Call today.
Wouldn't it be unbelievable if cereal that looked like this was somehow healthy? That's Magic Spoon. High protein, low carb, low sugar, and with a taste you'll never believe is good for you. Get $5 off at magicspoon.com/TV. I'm Jesse Weber, and you're watching Law and Crime.
Continued cross-examination of Johnny Depp on the witness stand. Let's go back live to court.
Do we have a date or a metadata or anything on it?
Why don't we, since you have some questions about it, why don't we watch it again?
Oh, I've
Play
seen
it
it.
again, please, Michelle. Okay, you know what, we don't have to do that.
No, that's good.
We don't have to do that. This is at your house in West Hollywood on Sweetser Avenue, correct?
That's correct, sir.
And that's you in the video, Mr. Depp, right?
That's correct, sir.
And you would agree that you were violent in that clip, correct?
Clearly I was having a bad time. I don't know what it was with regard to completely at this point, since I don't know the date, but being illegally recorded by your chosen other is, well, it's quite fitting with the rest of the photographs and tape recordings she made. So I thought what was most interesting is that she tried to hide it from me, and then that she laughed and smiled at the end. I thought that was the most interesting part myself. But so yes, I did assault a couple of cabinets, but I did not touch Miss Heard. And, as you can see, I think, no.
And you may have been drunk in that video, correct?
There's a possibility of that, yes, sir.
You poured yourself a mega pint of red wine, correct?
A mega pint?
Yeah.
I poured myself a large glass of wine.
Right.
I thought it necessary.
Right, right. Well, let's look at UK 101, please.
UK 101.
Yeah, this is day one.
Day.
You see there at line 5, do you have the page up?
I don't see 101 yet, sir. Sorry.
Okay, sorry, take your time.
I've got a bit of a bushel here. 101. Sorry.
It's in the volume for day one, if that helps.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm looking through, but it's all, it's a bit of a jumble. Oh, sorry, here, page 101, is that what you like?
Yes, sir.
Great.
And just since you seemed amused by the terminology, you were asked the question, you were drunk, I'm going to suggest. What do you say to that? Answer, I may have been.
Where are we, sir?
Line 5.
Thank you.
Question, you were drunk, I'm going to suggest. What do you say to that? Answer, I may have been, I do not recall. The chances are very good that I was if I was upset. Question, we saw you pour a sort of, answer, mega pint. Question, mega pint of red wine, which is not everybody's choice for breakfast, is it? Answer, no. Did I read that right?
You did.
And you were very, very upset in that video, correct?
I think that's pretty clear, yes.
And you would agree that your behavior in that clip could be intimidating to anyone present in that room, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. You would agree that your behavior was intimidating, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. Now, you're a lot bigger than Amber, correct? Physically?
I wouldn't say that.
Okay. Would you agree with me that the standards of a Southern gentleman were not in your mind in this particular moment, were they?
I don't know about anyone else, but I have had experiences in my life where one does stray from complete control over their emotions at times, and that is a very normal, primal thing to do. I did not try to intimidate Ms. Heard. If she was intimidated, why was she filming? If she was scared to death, why didn't she leave?
Can you pull up Exhibit 821, please? Defendant's Exhibit. We're going to fast forward in time a little bit, Mr. Depp.
Yes, I can feel it.
I'd like to direct your attention to The third text down, it's a text message from you to your sister on June 4th, 2016.
Yes, sir.
You see that?
Objection, relevance, Your Honor.
What's the relevance? Or you want to approach this?
Sure.
Okay, so here you go. Fascinating cross-examination. There is no doubt in my mind that Johnny Depp is not going to get off the stand today. There's going to be redirect examination. I would imagine re-cross-examination on top of that. We're going to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. More of this fascinating trial is coming up on the other end of the break. Thank you.
You own an annuity, either fixed rate, indexed, or variable? Are you paying high fees and getting low returns? If so, Annuity General would like you to have this free book to learn the pitfalls and mistakes of buying an annuity and how to get out of one you're unhappy with. The Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers is from a leading financial firm. It contains the little-known truths about annuities, like how to help reduce your fees and increase retirement income. And it's free. That's right, free!
Call 800-830-0217.
As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report just for calling. We researched over 1,200 annuities and summarized rates and benefits of annuities from financially strong insurers. You get Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and a free annuity rate report, both absolutely free for calling Annuity General today. Hurry, supplies are limited.
Call 800-830-0217. That's 800-830-0217.
Call now.
I'm Terry Austin, and you're watching Law & Crime.
At Boll & Branch, we don't make bedding like everyone else. We make it better. We prioritize thread quality, not thread count. We source the finest 100% organic cotton to make the softest, most luxurious fabrics on earth. We're free from toxins, the way home should be. Boll & Branch is made different, so you can sleep better at night. Experience the difference at bollandbranch.com.
Roy and Debbie retired, then had to face a volatile market. Worried that their retirement may not last, they contacted their personal capital advisor. They used our free retirement planner, which showed them their chances of retirement success, so that they can make the right decisions about their future and be ready for whatever the market may bring. Get the free retirement planner, then talk to an advisor. Start today at personalcapital.com.
I love Simplify by Quicken. It shows me how much I'm spending and creates a personalized spending plan. I always know how much I can spend and save. How much more could you save? Take the Simplify Challenge and find out. Named the best budgeting app by the New York Times Wirecutter. Start your free trial today.
It wasn't Meta's fault that yo-yo dieting failed her. Calibrate works with her biology to end an unsustainable cycle. Medication, coaching, lifestyle tweaks. Lose at least 10% of your body weight or your money back. Join Calibrate.com.
What are my stats? Well, my investments are tracking up, my house will be paid off in 12 years, and I'll retire at 61. Take control of your finances with Quicken. Try risk-free for 30 days.
Are you between the ages of 50 and 75? If so, does your auto insurance payment reflect that you drive less now than you did 20 years ago? Industry analysts recommend that seniors check for better auto insurance rates every year until the age of 75. When was the last time you checked for a lower rate? With one call, the Senior Auto Insurance Helpline will help you shop several large A-rated auto insurers for the cheapest rates and the best coverage with plans as low as $9 a week. With 24/7 claims and customer service, they'll always be there when you need them. Best of all, getting a free quote will not cause your current rate to increase. Now is the time to pick up the phone and find out how much you could be saving. Will you qualify for a lower insurance rate for as little as $9 a week? Get a free quote now. Call 1-800-600-4177. That's 1-800-600-4177. 1-800-600-4177.
Beer drip. It's a thing. This isn't a salt shaker. Not anymore, at least.
thanks to Scotch Porter's beard care products. Their quality ingredients keep my beard flake-free and my confidence on point.
Welcome back to Law and Crime's afternoon session. If you're just joining us, my name is Bob Bianchi. We are covering the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case. Johnny Depp is on the stand for the second day under cross-examination. Doesn't look like anything is going to get resolved today. He'll still be on the stand the next time they appear in court, is my belief. But let's go live on the continued cross-examination.
Posing in the fucking trunk of a Honda Civic, 2 exclamation points. Did I read that right?
You did.
Okay, you can take that down, Michelle, please. And can you please pull up Exhibit 485, Defendant's Exhibit.
Is it 485?
Do you recognize this as a text exchange that you had between you and Amber Heard on September 28th, 2015?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd move for the admission of the exhibit with just happy to have all of it, or just Mr. Depp's, depending on what his counsel wants.
Give him a moment to read it.
Of course.
We're happy to have the Mr. Depp and Ms. Heard's portions admitted, but we would ask that the phone numbers be redacted.
All right.
Of course.
So you could redact the identifying information. All right, 485 in evidence as redacted.
Can you blow up the top text, Michelle, please? And I'm not going to read the whole text, Mr. Depp, but if you start 4 lines down, you say, "And I'm on such a beastly head fuck from earlier that I feel like I won't know what to do or how to be. I feel like I only just continue to piss you off. Believe me, I never want to hurt you, and always have never wanted to hurt you. Never. I don't want to be in that position anymore. Not ever again. I feel pushed and I push back. I feel hurt. I will hurt back. A fight commences. I will fight back. And obviously so will you. But I can't again to see it coming. It puts us both in some stubborn space where neither of us can hear, much less understand one another's position." Did I read that right?
You did, sir.
Can we pull up Exhibit 186, please?
May I just make a point of clarification for DX 485? It's a multi-page exhibit. Is
it? Okay.
I just want to make sure it's just this page.
It was, it was just that page.
All right, what page is it?
Page 1 of 8.
So that'll be 485A, page 1.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Myers.
186.
What is?
Mr. Depp, if you can go to the first page, Michelle, please. This is a text exchange between you and Ms. Heard on September 6th, 2013, correct?
What's the date?
September 6th, 2013, I believe. You see that in the lower right of the text boxes?
Third, well, from the second one, The top one says September 5th.
Starts on the 5th, right, and then I was looking at the one that starts, thank you for your letter. That's September 6th, correct?
That is September 6th, yes.
Okay. And then if you, Your Honor, I'd move for admission of this document, starting with the text that says, thank you for your letter. And happy to have both texts or not, depending on what Mr. Depp's counsel argues, but thank you for your letter. And then going into the next page through the text that says, I have other uses.
Could we please scroll down just to see a little further?
Can you scroll down a little bit further? Thank you.
Can we please continue down further? I think we would like through the text messages on the third page, through Mr. Depp's text at September 6, 2013 at 8:10 a.m.
No objection to that. That's fine.
All right. So it's Defendant Exhibit 186, pages 1 through 3, then as redacted. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So 186A, pages 1 through 3 as redacted. Okay.
Can you just scroll down so counsel can see and the court can see if the redactions are right?
All right.
Looks correct. Thank you.
All right. Entered in evidence then. 186A.
All right. Permission to publish?
Yes.
Thank you. If you can. Yeah, there we go. So, Mr. Depp, on September 6th, 2013, you send Ms. Heard a text that says, thank you for your letter. I love you.
Yes,
scroll down.
Correct.
She writes, thank you for mine. Did I read that right?
You did.
And then you write, the only reason we go for the throat is love. Did I read that right?
You did.
And then she writes, my throat is yours. You're going to be the death of me, but I don't care. And then you write, I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury. I have other uses for your throat which do not include injury.
Sorry, could you read that again?
These are your words, sir, right? I read that right, correct?
You did. Okay.
You can take that down. Thanks. Can you pull up Exhibit 483, please? This is a journal that you and Amber would write to each other in, correct? It's a picture of a journal, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And this is an entry that you made on looks like September 27th, 2015. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And if, Your Honor, I'd move for, is there another page below it? Okay, I'd move for the admission of these 2 pages as exhibit 483A.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, 483, and that's the first and second page of that exhibit, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, 1 and 2, okay. All right, in evidence, you can
Permission to publish?
publish. Okay.
And if you can scroll down, Michelle, to the bottom that starts with "I love and adore you," please. Mr. Depp, you write in this journal, and just to be clear, this journal is something that you and Amber would write notes to each other in that the other one would be supposed to read, correct?
Yes, we wrote notes to each other for each other to read.
And you wrote, "I love and adore you. I can't express how sorry I am for having stooped so low as to have spewed such vicious untruths for the sole purpose of hurting you. I am far from being proud of myself for such a," next page, "grievous error, shameful. I will never allow myself to resort to such disgraceful and odious behavior, no matter what." Did I read that right?
You did.
Can you please pull up audio tape 396, please?
Has that already been entered in evidence? 396.
396.
Is it plaintiff's or defendant's exhibit? Sorry.
I'm told we think it's plaintiff's exhibit.
Plaintiff's exhibit 396. Has it been in evidence? No. 396 plaintiffs.
And this is another one of those, Your Honor, that I'm pretty sure is just between the two, but I'd like to confirm.
All right, so 396A, which part are you playing?
709 to 719. And 2004 to 2023.
And this is just the 2 litigants?
2 clips. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, any objection to those 2 clips?
No, Your Honor.
All right, 396A entered into evidence. Go ahead.
What's the date?
I'm not. You're a cunt. I fucking hate you. Fucking hate you, and I want out. Fuck this. Goodbye. Cunt.
In that portion of the recording, Mr. Depp, you tell Amber you're a cunt and you fucking hate her, correct?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Can we play the next portion, please? So the first clip was at about 7 minutes in. This is at 20 minutes in. So that was about 13 minutes later, correct? My math's right?
I don't know. What's the date?
Can you pull up?
You've got time, but you don't have date.
Can you pull up Exhibit 180, please?
Defendants 180?
Yes.
Yeah, compelling tapes in this case on both sides. I mean, this is really something else, and I can anticipate what's going to happen even after these witnesses, the two plaintiffs and defendants, if you will, in the case are off, being Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. We're going to take a quick break here on the afternoon session. We'll be back on the other end. Please stay with us.
We all know that movement is like medicine, but getting the movement you need to feel better can be a challenge. Now you can keep fit while you sit with QB, the world's leading compact seated elliptical. QB gives you active sitting, letting you burn calories and keep moving in an easy and low-impact way, all while you work, read, or watch TV. QB was named a top 10 gift by Time Magazine and has been featured all over the world. It's whisper quiet while it works your abs and core, hip flexors, glutes, quads, hamstrings, and calves.
QB is a lifesaver for me.
Here's your answer to your problem. I feel young again.
Join the hundreds of thousands of people moving more with QB. Call to find out how to get your QB with free shipping and a 30-day completely risk-free trial. You'll also get this QB workout mat free. Now keep fit while you sit with QB.
To order, call 800-289-2402. That's 800-289-2402. Call now.
I'm Sean Sticks Larkin, and you're watching Law and Crime.
Everything you've seen me do was made possible by what you don't see. Because when you're not looking, I go to work. Strength isn't a given. It's grown. It's earned and tested. We all have the strength to see what's possible. It's up to us to unlock it. Tonal, be your strongest.
Something's bothering my stomach. I could cut out a lot of foods or figure out what's actually bothering me before removing and adding back. I'll do that.
Every day is a weekend at Treasure Island, where adventure lives at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. Stay Sunday through Thursday at a special TV rate of just $79 a night with free parking. Check into your luxury room, then indulge in all that center strip action. All the shows, all the dining, all the things you love. It's your chance to escape to the most exciting city on the planet at a center strip location that puts you in the middle of all the action. All of it's just a phone call away, and Treasure Island is making it even more irresistible. Book now and we'll include buy one, get one draft beers. If Las Vegas is your destination, then TI has your deal. Dial the number on your screen or go to treasureisland.com now and make your getaway at the special TV rate of just $79 a night.
Whether I'm dropping my kids to school, out for a business meeting, going out on a date night with my man, I know that my feet are going to be comfortable in my Just Fab collection. Comfort without compromise. Major key. Shop my new collection at justfab.com.
Okay, so again, continue cross-examination of Johnny Depp. Nothing major happened during the course of the break, but let's go back live into the courtroom.
So, I don't think I'm the first to say that.
You'd agree that there's nothing appropriate about referring to her, your girlfriend or fiance as that, in those disparaging terms in that text, correct?
Objection, compound.
All right, sustained compound.
You'd agree that you meant the terms in your text as an insult because you didn't like the fact that she was disapproving of your alcohol and drug habits.
Objection,
Isn't that right?
compound.
Sustained compound question.
There was nothing.
No, you don't have to answer that, sir. That's
Sorry.
right. Next question.
Sorry, Your Honor.
And if you can go up one page, please. You told her, "You sicken me. Leave me fucking be, Officer Squarehead." Correct?
Yes. Hello.
Let's go to Defendant's Exhibit 736, please. Can you scroll down, please? Is that the last page? Is there more? Okay. Go up then, please. Now, Mr. Depp, I'd like to direct your attention to the text at the bottom. We've heard some testimony in this case, the jury's heard testimony in this case about the events of May 21st, 2016. These texts are texts that you and Amber exchanged on May 22nd, 2016.
All right.
You see that?
Yes, I see that.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd move for the admission of Defendant's Exhibit 736.
All right, any objections?
Well, the identifiers need to be redacted, and
Sure.
I just want to clarify that the 3 pages we scrolled through are the only 3 pages.
Sure, let's take a look at them right now. It's just those 2 pages.
Oh.
2 pages or 3 pages?
It's just 2.
Oh, if it's just these 2, then that's fine.
Okay, we'll take out the identifiers, please. All right.
Okay.
736 and evidence as redacted.
Thank you. Mr. Depp, if you can take a look at the text message at the bottom of the first page. You write to Ms. Heard the day after the incident on May 21st, 2016. Just let me know when you have a minute and I'll give you a call. Nothing I have to say to you should elicit anything but a sense of ease. All my love and profound apologies, Jay. Did I read that right?
You did.
Can we go to 771, please? Mr. Depp, is this a text message from you to Ms. Heard on May 22nd, 2016?
Yes, that seems to be the case, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'd move for admission of this exhibit with the identifiers redacted.
Any objection?
No objection.
All right, if you do those redactions. All right, 771 in evidence with redactions.
And on May 22nd, 2016, you wrote the text that we just saw. You also texted Ms. Heard, sorry if was a bit. Please know that my hurt toward you is over. My apologies are eternal and belong to you. Solid X. Did I read that right?
You did.
Can we please pull up Exhibit 587? And Your Honor, this is an audio recording that I think will take about 5 or 6 minutes, so it might be take us toward the end of the day.
All right, 587, and is that an audio recording that's agreed?
Is this plaintiffs or defendants? 587.
It's defendants. Again, I'm 99% sure it's just them.
Okay.
But if I'll confirm this evening.
Any objections?
That's fine. Can you please just let us know which portions you're playing?
Of course. This will be 32:10 to 38:05. before we move on, you and Ms. Heard saw each other in July of 2016, one final time, correct?
Okay, well, this wraps it up for me for right now, but don't go anywhere because there's more on the Law and Crime Network. If you want to watch a trial, you can go to Law and Crime's YouTube channel. So my name is Bob Bianchi. I'll be back next Monday for afternoon session from 3 to 5. Have a great rest of the week.
Suffer from pain? You're not alone. Omega XL can help. For years, Robin lived with severe pain in her ankles, knees, and back.
I had so much pain in my knees that stooping was not one of the things that I could do anymore. I just thought it was age because I've gotten older.
Then she found Omega XL, a powerful natural supplement. 30 years of research show it relieves joint and muscle pain caused by inflammation. It's small, easy to swallow with no fishy aftertaste. Omega XL, a unique extract from the green lip mussels of New Zealand.
The moment I started using Omega XL, there was such a change and such a difference. I didn't realize that it was happening until I was squatting down, till I was running up and down the stairs. It has revived me.
Why struggle with pain in your back, neck, knees, or elbows? Turn to the powerful solution that millions have trusted to relieve their pain and get their life back. Omega XL, the one-of-a-kind natural supplement that helps reduce joint pain due to inflammation. Join the many Omega XL success stories.
I found this product, and it's called Omega XL. I mean, I can't tell you how great I feel. I mean, this works.
Because I'm taking Omega XL, it allows me to live life to the fullest.
Omega XL has given me my life back. Omega XL works.
I want anybody who's having pain in their knees, their back, your joints, try it. I'm telling you about it. I'm telling you about something that's gonna change your life if you'll try it.
Call now or go to OmegaXL.com/Robin. And when you buy one bottle of Omega XL, get another absolutely free. That's 2 bottles for only $39.95. Order right now and we'll also include a bottle of Vitamin XL D3 for whole body health absolutely free on your first order. We're so confident in the effectiveness of Omega XL that we back it up with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Order now and get 2 bottles of Omega XL plus Vitamin XL D3 for only $39.95. Act now.
Hi, I'm Jeff from Nuts.com. When my grandfather started this business in 1929, he relied on 4 important values: freshness, quality, variety, and service. I'm proud to carry on his legacy, but from a bigger space. We still freshly roast, season, and dip delicious nuts here in New Jersey and deliver them with the freshest dried fruits, snacks, and sweets to families that love our products all around the country, including mine. We think you'll love Nuts.com too, so check us out and enjoy free shipping on your first order.
These 3 little sticks are game changers.
It is what I call magic in a stick. Boomstick Trio, glow, glimmer, and color.
Boom Glow. It feels so good on your skin.
Boomstick color, blush, your lipstick, and any other color you want. Stuff is super creamy.
The Boomstick Glimmer, it just feels special.
It is a nice shimmer.
I look like me, but I've got a glow.
Calibrate is a doctor-guided weight loss program that combines virtual doctor visits, FDA-approved medication, and one-on-one video coaching to reset your metabolic system. Get back in control of your weight and your health with Calibrate. Sign up today at joincalibrate.com.
What are my stats? Well, my investments are tracking up, my house will be paid off in 12 years, and I'll retire at 61. Take control of your finances with Quicken. Try risk-free for 30 days.
A beard should be many things: thick, full, soft, and flake-free. But getting there can be a struggle. That's why the experts at Scotch Porter created their beard care products. They condition and moisturize every beard, promoting growth and thickness with clean, quality ingredients like white willow bark and biotin. And that scent? Get your beard in check and your confidence on point with Scotch Porter.
I'm Brian Ross, and you're watching Law and Crime.
Straight ahead on Law and Crime Daily. The Rust movie set shooting is back in the spotlight.
Our OSHA investigators have determined that Rust Production failed in their obligation to provide a workplace free of recognized hazards.
But first, complete coverage of the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation lawsuit.
After you said, let's drown her before we burn her, Mr. Depp, you said, I will her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she is dead.
Disturbing text messages revealed when Depp is back on the stand. Plus, how Depp says Heard's abuse allegations affected his career.
I lost then, no matter the outcome of this trial. I'll carry that for the rest of my days.
And later,
I called her Slim and she called me Steve, which was Lauren Bacall's and Humphrey Bogart's nickname.
Could a once romantic pet name make way for Heard's courtroom wardrobe? We take a closer look at the internet theory. Law and Crime Daily, covering court cases from coast to coast. Welcome everyone to Law and Crime Daily. I'm your host, Brian Buckmeyer. Cross-examination gets heated as Johnny Depp takes the stand for the third day. Law and Crime Network's Jesse Weber was inside the courtroom Thursday. He joins us now in Fairfax, Virginia, to break down the back and forth of cross-examination.
Yeah, Brian, so cross-examination began with Depp admitting that abuse can take many forms, not just physical, but also emotional and verbal, something that Depp admitted to because he was abused by his mother in the same way. Now, that's important because Amber Heard's side is saying that she was abused by Johnny Depp in a multitude of ways and that she was not lying about him in that Washington Post article. From there, we heard attorney J. Benjamin Rottenborn, who's representing Amber Heard, leading Johnny Depp through that alleged abuse, particularly through a series of text messages. They tried to show the jury that Depp was potentially violent, mean, degrading, and of course had a very serious substance abuse problem. Depp, in these text messages, called himself a monster, a savage, someone who would spray rage, and even in another text message to someone, threatened to smack Amber Heard. They even played audio of Depp on that infamous flight from Boston to L.A. where he is groaning and moaning. This again reinforcing that he was potentially violent and also that he was the one, not Amber Heard, who torpedoed his own career through his behavior. This included showing up late or even destroying property, which is something that Depp admitted to under cross-examination. And they even presented a text message from Johnny Depp to Amber Heard's mother where he admits that Amber Heard helped him through the detoxification process, which is something in stark contrast to what he testified to under direct examination. So Depp is clearly in the hot seat, but how much this is going to hurt his case or help Amber Heard's case, that's something we'll just have to wait and see. Brian?
Thanks, Jesse. On cross-examination, Depp admitted to past physical violence and later some disturbing text messages he sent.
You've trashed hotel rooms before simply because you've had a bad couple days and an unpleasant time, correct?
I have assaulted a couch or two, yes, sir.
You'd agree that at times in your life you've expressed yourself through destructive behavior?
Yes.
And you'd agree that at times when you were angry, you smashed things up, right?
More in my confused sort of youth, yes.
You text Mr. Bettany, let's burn Amber, 3 exclamation points, right? You see that?
I do see that.
And at this time, June 11, 2013, Amber is your girlfriend or perhaps even your fiance at this point, correct?
Girlfriend,
yeah,
for sure.
And you didn't stop when you said, let's burn Amber. You say, let's drown her before we burn her, 3 exclamation points. Did I read that right?
Yes, it's referring to the text prior to.
You didn't stop when you said, let's drown her before we burn her. After that, you made another comment, and I'd like to apologize to the court and to the jury for some of the language that I'm going to have to use today, but unfortunately, you're going to see a lot of documents with language like this. After you said, let's drown her before we burn her, Mr. Depp, you said, I will her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she is dead. That's what you said that you would do after you burned her and after you drowned her. Did I read that right?
You certainly did, yes.
And you wrote that about the woman who would later become your wife.
Yes, I did.
Joining us today is trial attorney Christa Ramey and co-host Terry Austin. Christa, how does arguing Depp's career was on the decline help Heard's case? Is she proving that point? Because we've got at least 100,000 people watching daily that say otherwise.
Well, if his career was on the decline, then anything that she wrote would not have caused any damages to him. So if there was, in fact, defamation, the fact that there was a decline in his career could be blamed on a multitude of other things, including his excessive drinking and drug use, which was well known at that time.
You know, it'd be interesting to see how that, maybe Depp's lawyers kind of twist that and say this accelerated it. I don't know. But that's a great point, Christa. Terry, these drown and burn texts and some of the audio recordings that we're hearing as well, does that change Depp's image in your mind? Do you think it will make the jury believe he is capable of hitting Heard because of these messages?
You know what? The language doesn't change my image of Depp, and I don't think it changes anybody in the jury's image of Depp. Listen, they know that he has this unique and distinct vernacular. He uses curse words. He speaks in hyperbole. He uses imagery. You can't take everything he says literally because he doesn't actually mean he's going to drown and burn her. He doesn't mean he wants to see her body in the back of a Honda Civic. So I think for a fact that he uses language that can be offensive, but it's not language that I think will change the image that people have of him. I think they understand that he's unique in this way and that he doesn't mean all of the things that he is saying.
Yeah, and another point too, if he's saying this when they were dating as girlfriend and boyfriend or fiance, he ultimately married her. So obviously those are not true feelings. As you said, Terry, probably a hyperbole, but we'll see as the case continues. Still ahead on Law and Crime Daily, our coverage continues on Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard. After the break, what led up to Depp's back and forth cross-examination and how he says Heard's op-ed has affected his career.
You spend 1/3 of your life in bed. That's why at Boll & Branch, we hold ourselves to a higher standard. Our bedding is 100% organic, toxin-free, and fair trade certified. It makes a difference you'll feel and offers a better way to live in this world. Start with our best-selling signature sheets made to get softer with every wash. Visit bollandbranch.com.
So I have peppers, tomatoes, parsley. What's that one? That's my credit. It gets lots of sun, water, and I even sing to it every day. But it never grows.
You need Credit Sesame. With Credit Sesame, you get your free score right away and see steps you can take to improve it. Daily score refreshes help track your progress, and they'll even pay you for growing your score.
Credit Sesame? Wow. Maybe I could start growing my savings there.
Get your free credit score today.
Me gustaría... Me gustaría pedir algo de comer.
Ah, ok, por supuesto. ¿Qué puedo ofrecerte?
How did you learn Spanish?
How did you learn English?
Señorita Flores, in school.
I don't have your Señorita Flores to help. So I learned with this. When you're older, learning a new language is más difícil.
Más difícil.
There's never enough time. And who's gonna teach you?
Hasta pronto. So, Bubble, it's kinda like if Señorita Flores is in your phone?
Kind of. And the best part is help me make new friends like you.
Language for life. Go to babbel.com and try it for free.
Welcome back. Our coverage continues now in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard defamation lawsuit. Ahead of Thursday's cross-examination, Depp pinned it direct on a strong note, explaining how the Washington Post op-ed has affected his career.
Did you experience any consequences after the release of the op-ed?
Absolutely.
And what were those?
Oh, I believe it was I don't think it took Disney very long, maybe a couple of days, to announce that that I had been removed from the Pirates of the Caribbean films franchise. I'll put it to you this way: no matter the outcome of this trial, the second the allegations were made against me, the accusations, the second that more and more of these things, as I said, metastasized and turned into fodder for the media, once that happens, or once that happened, I lost. I will live with that for the rest of my life because of the allegations and because it was such a high-profile case. So I lost then, no matter the outcome of this trial. I'll carry that for the rest of my days.
In a brief cross-exam on Wednesday, Heard's attorneys asked about Depp's career, post-abuse allegations, and pinpointed what event led to his legal action.
And you aren't aware, you said Pirate 6 in your view is dangling. You're not aware of if or when Pirate 6 will be made, correct?
No, sir. No.
And the fact is, Mr. Depp, if Disney came to you with $300 million and 1 million alpacas, nothing on this earth would get you to go back and work with Disney on a Pirates of the Caribbean film, correct?
That is true, Mr. Rottenborn.
And you spent a long time talking about the impact of the abuse allegations made in Ms. Heard's obtaining the temporary restraining order in, or the domestic violence restraining order in May 2016, right?
Sure.
And you said, you testified that you wanted to fight it, right? But the fact is, you never fought the allegations in court in 2016. It was only after Ms. Heard published this op-ed in 2018 that you fought them. You never tried to fight them in 2016, did you?
I was advised by my attorneys not to fight.
Yeah, if I knew Disney was paying alpacas, I would have asked for more. Terry, this cross-examination seems a little messy with this op-ed. Was it something else that destroyed his career or him? Do you think this is going to lead us to seeing a lot of redirect, recross, back and forth to kind of iron out these details?
Well, I hope we don't see a lot of that, but we might. Listen, the Washington Post op-ed was just the culmination of all of these events. Their problems began when the relationship began, or not long afterwards. They started out in 2012 in heavenly bliss, and then about a year after, they started having these accusations going back and forth. And certainly by 2016, when she filed the TRO, things were very messy. They got the divorce. And I think that's when she started making these accusations. Of course, the op-ed post is the center of everything, but he's going to have to demonstrate how everything led up to that and how the statement he made wasn't really something that was true. He made it because his lawyers told him not to fight the TRO. So we'll see what happens, but I think it has to be cleaned up as far as Depp's team is concerned.
Yeah, Christa, now this is a big if. I don't want people thinking this isn't going to happen, but if Heard's attorneys prove it wasn't the op-ed that lost Depp the ability to work with Disney, could this case end before Amber Heard ever takes the stand?
Well, it's a good point. First of all, I think that Amber Heard will take the stand regardless of anything. I think if I were prosecuting this case, I would put Amber Heard on in my case in chief as representing Johnny Depp. It's not like a civil case. You can call any party to the stand, or a criminal case rather. So you might see Amber Heard take the stand immediately after Johnny Depp or shortly thereafter before the plaintiff closes.
That's going to be interesting to see if Johnny Depp's own attorneys call Amber Heard. It's going to be great TV, and of course, if it happens, we'll have it here for you. Thank you both. Coming up on Law and Crime Daily, our coverage continues in the defamation suit. Is Amber Heard's court attire a strategy? And is she copying her ex-husband's looks or those of a Hollywood legend? We examine the fashion theory taking the internet by storm.
to the water. That's the only one that I ever killed by drowning.
This is prime crime.
Had you discussed alternative methods of killing your mother?
Yes.
We take you inside the most fascinating cases that the nation is talking about.
I don't understand.
Real footage from interrogation tapes to body cam video, we dig deep. Join us on the Law and Crime Network Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 10:30 p.m.
Folks, Medicare Part C plans with extra benefits like getting money added back to your Social Security check may now be available to you in your zip code. Make sure you're not missing out. It's simple. 1, call the number on your screen. 2, they'll look up your zip code and see if you're eligible. 3, they'll check for plans with extra benefits like prescriptions, dental coverage, and the benefit that adds money back to your Social Security check every single month. Call now.
I called to get everything I deserve.
I called to check my zip code for a plan with a benefit that adds money back to my Social Security check.
I called to check my zip code.
Millions of people have called the Medicare Coverage Helpline. Call, check your zip code, see if you're eligible, and get what you deserve. Call now.
Call 800-640-0342. That's 800-640-0342.
Everything you've seen me do was made possible by what you don't see. We all have the strength to see what's possible. It's up to us to unlock it. Tonal, be your strongest.
What are my stats? Well, my investments are tracking up, my house will be paid off in 12 years, and I'll retire at 61. Take control of your finances with Quicken. Try risk-free for 30 days.
It's the 21st century. You can get lattes and car rides and toilet paper instantly on a phone you unlock with your face. And if you had the Thumbtack app, you'd be able to hire people just as fast, like painters and cleaners and plumbers. Thumbtack's the app that finds local pros for you. It shows you prices, reviews, and when they're available. Now you can fix your house the same way you do everything else, with an app. Download Thumbtack today.
Welcome back. We continue our coverage of the multi-million-dollar defamation suit, where Hollywood exes Johnny Depp and Amber Heard face off in Fairfax, Virginia. The case, getting record streaming numbers here at the Law and Crime Network, has gained attention from across the globe. Some fans now creating a theory that Amber Heard is strategically planning her outfits and hairstyles each day she's in court. Last week, Eagle Eye fans noticed a bee pin worn by Depp to court. In the days following, Heard is wearing a similar pin on her tie. Some fans say Heard is specifically copying outfits worn by Depp. Others say Heard is now dressing as famed actress Lauren Bacall. In direct examination, Depp testified he used to call Heard the nickname Slim based on a Lauren Bacall character. He says the pair considered themselves similar to Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart, two famed actors who had a similar large age gap.
I called her Slim and she called me Steve, which was Lauren Bacall's and Humphrey Bogart's nicknames for each other in the film. That was their names in the film. And it wasn't lost on me the fact that there was an age difference, and that my God, when Humphrey Bogart and Lauren Bacall, that's when they met on that film. He was 45 years old and she was 19. I acknowledged the fact that I was the old craggy bogey and she was this beautiful creature.
All right, Terry, since you had to explain it to this Canadian millennial, what's your take on this Amber Heard, Lauren Bacall theory? Because I'm not too familiar with who she is.
Well, I do think she's trying to look a little bit like Lauren Bacall, and frankly, she looks a lot like Lauren Bacall. She is a beautiful woman. You cannot take that away from her. She is a stunning creature, and you've heard testimony about the fact she doesn't even need makeup. She wakes up looking like that. I think it was endearing for Johnny to talk about the fact that he called her Slim, she called him Steve. He acknowledged the age difference. He acknowledged he's the old groggy bogey. And so I do think it made him look good, and I think his image is very similar to his image in the movies. And so they're both sort of playing the characters that they are and the characters that the audience already thinks of them. And I think it could work to their advantage to see Johnny Depp as, you know, the captain and to see her as Lauren Bacall.
Yeah, and Christa, this is interesting because I think we both agree on this. Most seasoned trial attorneys I know think long and hard about what their client will wear in front of the jury because clothes, as we know, say a lot. Any thoughts on what you've seen, heard, and Depp wear, and what impressions you think that could be giving the jury?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, we do. I've taken client shopping. I think that they're both dressing very smart. There's some choices that they're making that I think are bad because you do want them to clean up and present well to a jury. So I think that Johnny Depp suddenly pulling his hair back into a ponytail, I think worked. I think that his lawyers and his trial team, maybe pivoted after he had his hair down the first day of trial. I wish that he would take off the colored reading glasses, though. I think they're distracting, and although it is part of his image, I don't think it works here.
All right, we'll see how the jurors interpret this and other evidence that comes into the case. Thank you very much, both. When we come back, the deadly Russ movie shooting. Months after the shocking incident, the state of New Mexico reveals its investigation results. What they say was the root of the problem in the death of cinematographer Helena Hutchins.
It's 5 a.m. and you've tried every pillow trick you know. The stack, the flip, even the triple-double. Yet you still wake up with neck pain, back pain, and zombie brain. It's time to break your sleepless cycle with Nuzzle, the NASA-inspired pillow that provides zero-gravity support. The secret is thousands of nanocoil fibers. Each one pushes against gravity at the microscopic level to gently support your neck and cradle your head for a feeling of plush weightlessness. But here's something you'll only get with Nuzzle. It's the world's first and only pillow that has 2 adjustable inner layers that adapt to how you like to sleep. For stomach sleepers, the slim layer provides just the right amount of softness and support. For back sleepers, the medium layer maintains straight spinal alignment. And for side sleepers, both layers combine to provide the maximum support, so you wake up pain-free and happy.
It is so super soft and supportive to my neck and back.
With the Nuzzle pillow, I could have soft, medium, or firm all in one pillow.
Nuzzle has been vigorously lab tested and is proven to hold its shape, not just during the honeymoon phase, but for 1,001 nights and days. Plus, Nuzzle is 100% machine washable. And here's the coolest thing about Nuzzle. It's made from the same phase change fabric NASA uses in real spacesuits to regulate an astronaut's temperature. When you get hot, Nuzzle automatically responds by cooling itself off. So you're always at the optimal temperature. During this special TV offer, you can get your Nuzzle pillow for the factory direct price of just $99.99. But wait, for everyone who orders right now, we'll give you an instant 50% discount. That's just $49.99. Plus, it comes with a Nuzzle 90-day money-back guarantee. Call or log on at mynuzzle.com. That's mynuzzle.com.
Calibrate is a doctor-guided weight loss program that combines virtual doctor visits, FDA-approved medication, and one-on-one video coaching to reset your metabolic system. Get back in control of your weight and your health with Calibrate. Sign up today at joincalibrate.com.
I love my parents. So as they've gotten older, we've had to have some not so fun conversations about their wishes if something were to happen to them.
As an estate planning attorney, most people that would come to my office were looking to create a will for their family, but many couldn't afford the fees.
That's why we started Trust and Will, a modern and affordable approach to estate planning.
Attorney-designed documents, customized by you, all through an easy-to-use website.
The way a will should be. Find the plan that's right for you at trustandwill.com.
With Simplify by Quicken, it takes just 5 minutes for me to stay on top of my money. The app tells me when I've been paid, if a bill's too high, or if I've been overspending. I always know how much I have left to spend or save, and that saves me time and money. Start your free trial today.
Welcome back. Actor Alec Baldwin says a newly released investigation into the shooting on his New Mexico film set clears his name. This after the film's production company is fined for safety failures. The shooting happened in the outskirts of Santa Fe in October 2021. Baldwin was pointing a gun at cinematographer Halyna Hutchins while they were setting up for a scene. Baldwin said in interviews after the shooting, the gun, quote, just went off, killing Hutchins and wounding the director, Joel Souza. On Wednesday, New Mexico workplace safety regulators issued the maximum possible fine against Rust Movie Productions, totaling around $137,000. The state's Occupational Health and Safety Bureau, or OSHA, says their investigation revealed a laundry list of safety failures in violation of standard industry protocols, including the film's assistant director handing the revolver to Baldwin without consulting the on-set weapons specialist. Regulators also noted the AD took no investigative or corrective action when he witnessed 2 other accidental discharges of rifles on set. OSHA announced the fines in a video release.
Our OSHA investigators have determined that Rust Production failed in their obligation to provide a workplace free of recognized hazards. More specifically, there were several management failures and more than sufficient evidence to suggest that if standard industry practices were followed, the fatal shooting of Halyna Hutchins and the serious injury to Joel Souza would not have occurred. The bottom line here is that it was the employer's obligation to follow national standards, and that did not happen on the set of Rust. While I realize no fine can compensate for the loss of life, we are holding Rust Productions fully accountable.
Christa, when I hear that presser, my public defender senses start tingling. That sounds like recklessness to me. You're not following industry practices. So could we see reckless homicide or other criminal charges citing this report in the future?
I think that it's even more than just reckless. The report noted that it was willful and intentional disregard of the safety measures that were in place and, that were there to protect the employees. I think that you're absolutely right, Brian. I think that you can, see charges coming down for the supervisors on the set, the people that acted willfully, their supervisors, and that could include, by the way, Mr. Baldwin, who is his production company, was, an employer on that very set. So, I think that there is a good possibility that you could see criminal charges flowing from this.
Yeah, but Terry, Baldwin says this clears him of all wrongdoing. So do you think these results do just that?
I think it's ironic, Brian, that he thinks that these findings clear him of any wrongdoing. I think just the opposite. In those findings, you heard them say that these are maximum fines. Of course, it doesn't bring back anyone to life, and it doesn't, detract from the fact that people were injured. But I think it's saying overall that Rust Productions failed and they did not follow industry standards. And Alec Baldwin is absolutely responsible. He is one of the producers on that set. He is the employer. As Christa said, he is involved here. He basically, during one of the interviews, said that he wasn't responsible for hiring, but he is responsible for hiring. He's responsible for making sure that the set is safe all of the time. And ultimately, even if there are no criminal charges, there could very well be some, penalties as far as the civil case is concerned.
Yeah, I can see this investigation being cited in a lot of actions around this case. So thank you for that. And thank you for joining us here on Law and Crime Daily. We'll see you next time as we discuss justice in America.
Crime. Thanks for joining us here on our continued live coverage of the Derek Chauvin trial.
Get in the car. Mama. The trial of Robert Durst. I am not trying to figure out anything.
The Kyle Rittenhouse trial.
I never wanted to shoot Mr. Rosenbaum.
I didn't want to hurt anybody.
I'm Dan Abrams.
I'm Terry Austin.
I'm Brian Buckmeyer.
I'm Brian Ross.
I'm Jesse Weber.
And you're watching
Law and Crime.
This week on Brian Ross Investigates, trouble on the diamond. Decision time for one of baseball's star pitchers accused of domestic violence.
Last July, Bauer was placed on administrative leave after a San Diego woman claimed he sexually assaulted her at his Pasadena home.
But Trevor Bauer denies any wrongdoing.
While we did have consensual rough sex, the disturbing acts and conduct that she described simply did not occur.
He's not been charged with any crime, but will Major League Baseball enforce its zero-tolerance policy on domestic abuse? Plus, an investigation into how America's billionaires, Bloomberg, Bezos, and others game the tax system.
The thing that really struck us was that how little they pay, particularly when you compare how much they're worth.
And what about those hidden tax breaks for the super rich owners of sports teams?
This is a magical place where sports team owners can tell the government they make tens or even hundreds of millions less than they actually do and pay very little in taxes. And it's all perfectly legal.
ProPublica reporters expose the facts, reveal the documents, and send the message. If you're getting a W-2, you're a sucker. And this week's winners and losers in the media. See if you agree with the choices made by the editors of Mediaite.
They have not monetized 500 million viewers. I mean, what are they thinking?
From the studios of the Law&Crime Trial Network in New York City's Herald Square, this is Brian Ross Investigates. Good evening and welcome. I'm Brian Ross, joined as always by my colleague Rhonda Schwartz. And Rhonda, we begin with trouble on the diamond over domestic violence allegations. The country's been watching allegations of domestic violence being leveled back and forth in a Virginia courtroom between actor Johnny Depp and his ex-wife. But there's another high-profile domestic violence case that is heading for a showdown, a case involving baseball star Trevor Bauer, the Los Angeles Dodgers pitcher, who's been kept off the field since last June, even as he continues to collect his $28 million a year salary. And Rhonda, Major League Baseball has yet to say how or even if he will be punished.
That's right, Brian. Bauer was placed on administrative leave after a 27-year-old woman alleged that Bauer had punched her, choked her into unconsciousness, and had anal sex with her while she was passed out. Trevor says it was all consensual, and authorities in California have declined to prosecute him, leaving baseball to decide what comes next.
Dodgers pitcher Trevor Bauer will not face any criminal charges following accusations of sexual assault. Last July, Bauer was placed on administrative leave after a San Diego woman claimed he sexually assaulted her at his Pasadena home.
Last June, a 27-year-old woman he met on social media testified the sexual encounters between them turned violent. Today, LA County prosecutors say they cannot prove her case beyond a reasonable doubt.
I never punched this woman in the face. I never punched her in the vagina. I never scratched her face. I never had anal sex with her or sodomized her in any way. I never assaulted her in any way at any time. And while we did have consensual rough sex, the disturbing acts and conduct that she described simply did not occur.
So now to help us get a better understanding of how baseball and professional sports in general are dealing with this issue of domestic violence, we're joined by Jay Reisinger, an attorney in Pittsburgh who's represented a number of athletes facing similar allegations, including in the past Trevor Bauer. And Jay, I know you're not representing Bauer in this case. Let me ask you this. If prosecutors say there's not enough evidence to bring charges, what options does the MLB have?
The joint domestic violence program between Major League Baseball and the Major League Baseball Players Association sets out very clearly, in its preamble, that criminal charges aren't required in order to find the necessary aspects of domestic violence with respect to the policy. Put it shortly, a crime is not required for the commissioner to determine that there's been a violation of the policy.
So is that fair to a player like Trevor Bauer, who denies it, as you saw so forthrightly?
Whether it's fair or not, no, it's not fair. It's not fair. But it is a policy that the Players Association and Major League Baseball agreed to, and thus he's required to abide by it.
Jay, a question for you from Rhonda Schwartz. Rhonda?
Jay, in this situation, Trevor's denied all these allegations, but for Major League ball players, for other professional sports athletes who are accused with these kinds of accusations, since they are such role models, shouldn't they be held to a higher standard regardless?
Not in my opinion. I don't think there should be a higher standard applied to professional athletes at all. No.
Jay, I know you're not involved in this case directly, but what do you think is taking Major League Baseball so long they continue to extend this administrative leave? Why can't they decide what to do?
Well, first of all, I think they were waiting for the results of the criminal investigation. You know, beyond that, I mean, this is the most complicated domestic violence case of the entire DV policy timeframe, which is, I believe, from 2016 to the present. It takes a long time. Major League Baseball does their own internal investigations. They have former prosecutors on staff that are looking into it. So it takes a while.
In this case, Major League Baseball says it is still investigating the allegations. If they come down hard on Trevor Bauer, does he have an appeal process? What happens next for him, or does he have to take it?
No, he does not have to take it. He has the right to appeal to an independent arbitrator, which would be the system arbitrator that's prescribed by the CBA. And certainly if a suspension of some length is imposed, he's certainly going to appeal.
And Jay, finally, let me ask you, has the get tough stance taken by Major League Baseball and other professional sports leagues, is it working? Is it reducing the amount of domestic violence involving these players?
That's a great question. I think the answer is no. I think domestic violence, it's an important issue for everybody to pay attention to. But I'm not sure that the rules that are in place, I don't think it changes whether domestic violence occurs or not. I really don't.
All right. Well, Jay Reisinger, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight and for your valuable insights.
Thank you.
You bet. Up next, for most Americans, this has been the week to settle with the IRS, but not for America's super rich. We'll find out why. You're watching Brian Ross Investigates on the Law and Crime Trial Network.
I'm Dan Abrams, and you're watching Law and Crime.
Suffer from pain? You're not alone. Omega XL can help. For years, Robin lived with severe pain in her ankles, knees, and back.
I had so much pain in my knees that stooping was not one of the things that I could do anymore. I just thought it was age because I've gotten older.
Then she found Omega XL, a powerful natural supplement. 30 years of research show it relieves joint and muscle pain caused by inflammation. It's small, easy to swallow with no fishy aftertaste. Omega XL, a unique extract from the green lip mussels of New Zealand.
The moment I started using Omega XL, there was such a change and such a difference. I didn't realize that it was happening until I was squatting down, till I was running up and down the stairs. It has revived me.
Why struggle with pain in your back, neck, knees, or elbows? Turn to the powerful solution that millions have trusted to relieve their pain and get their life back. Omega XL, the one-of-a-kind natural supplement that helps reduce joint pain due to inflammation. Join the many Omega XL success stories.
I found this product, and it's called Omega XL. I mean, I can't tell you how great I feel. I mean, this works.
Because I'm taking Omega XL, it allows me to live life to the fullest.
Omega XL has given me my life back. Omega XL works.
I want anybody who's having pain in their knees, their back, your joints, try it. I'm telling you about it. I'm telling you about something that's gonna change your life if you'll try it.
Call now or go to OmegaXL.com/Robin. And when you buy one bottle of Omega XL, get another absolutely free. That's 2 bottles for only $39.95. Order right now, and we'll also include a bottle of Vitamin XL D3 for whole body health, absolutely free on your first order. We're so confident in the effectiveness of Omega XL that we back it up with a 60-day money-back guarantee. Order now and get 2 bottles of Omega XL plus Vitamin XL D3 for only $39.95. Act now.
What are my stats? Well, my investments are tracking up, my house will be paid off in 12 years, and I'll retire at 61. Take control of your finances with Quicken. Try risk-free for 30 days.
Everything you've seen me do was made possible by what you don't see. Because when you're not looking, I go to work. Strength isn't a given. It's grown. It's earned and tested. We all have the strength to see what's possible. It's up to us to unlock it. Tonal, be your strongest.
Keeps has given me the control of my hair back.
Seeing the progress was awesome. Seeing my hair grow back so quick.
I feel great. I feel confident. I feel very happy about my journey so far with Keeps and where it's going in the future.
Get started at keeps.com/TV.
We turn now to an amazing series of investigative reports from the nonprofit journalism group ProPublica, documenting how some of America's super rich have been able to avoid paying taxes for years. Rhonda?
And it comes on the very week that most of us have had to file our tax returns and send a check to the IRS.
We're joined now by Paul Keel, a reporter at ProPublica, part of the 10-person team which used old-fashioned shoe leather reporting, excellent sources, and some incredible documents to reveal just how America's super wealthy have been able to pretty much avoid the tax man. Paul, thanks for being here. What, in a sense, did you find bottom line about America's super rich?
Well, the thing that really struck us was that how little they pay, particularly when you compare to how much they're worth. That is the thing that was the first thing we noticed, and then took real pains to explain to people, how that is possible.
But it's all legal?
There are some lines there's some blurry lines. In the tax world, they talk about aggressive tax planning. We saw some aggressive tax planning. One example is Peter Thiel, billionaire, was able to amass $5 billion in a Roth IRA account.
A retirement account designed for the middle class is now also a tax-free piggy bank for some of the wealthiest Americans. How? Turning a Roth IRA into a giant tax shelter. First, here's how a Roth works. You invest a limited amount of money each year, and once the money is in the account, it's never taxed again, as long as you don't withdraw it before age 59 and a half. Here's an example. In 1999, before he became a billionaire, PayPal founder Peter Thiel had a Roth IRA worth less than $2,000. 20 years later, his Roth had grown to more than $5 billion, the biggest account we found. He won't have to pay tax on a penny of that, and he can start to collect tax-free 6 years from now.
That was something that was a gray line that he might have crossed. But a lot of this, it's just the way that our tax system is set up. It's not set up to tax wealth. It's set up to tax a specific definition of income.
How about some of the super rich, like Michael Bloomberg?
Yeah, Bloomberg really came across as paying a remarkably low tax rate, so around an average of 4%. A lot of that has to do with deductions he's able to take. He gives a lot of charitable deductions, and then there's just deductions in our tax code that he's able to write off a lot of his income.
And Jeff Bezos of Amazon?
So, yeah, Bezos struck us as someone who has been largely successful in not, he's massively wealthy based on his holdings in Amazon, but for the large part, he's avoided turning that into the sort of income that ends up on a tax returns.
Today was also tax day, or as Jeff Bezos calls it, no, it's not. Now, if you procrastinate on your taxes, you're not alone. As of last week, 40% of this year's taxpayers were still unaccounted for, with many scrambling to submit their documents today. In fact, Google's top search term today was, what is 1099, how to get face transplant and move to Mexico tonight?
Jeff Bezos is so good at hiding his wealth that he qualified for a child tax credit. This dude built his own rocket to take him to space. And the US government is like, hey, brother, here's something for the kids until you can get back on your feet. Hard times, Jeff.
So one key stat for him is over the time period 2014 to 2018, he grew $100 billion richer and managed to only pay about $1 billion in tax during that time, which is a rate of about 1%.
1%. And the average American pays what percent? Those who get their money through W-2s. Right. So we give examples of even someone earning like $45,000 a year who earns all their money through their wages can end up paying, if you include both income tax and payroll taxes, around 20%. In your headline, you say, if you're getting a W-2, you're a sucker. What do you mean by that? I mean, because for normal people, what your income is not really much of a question. It's a sort of an obvious thing to ask, and you get a piece of paper every year that says what your income was. But what income is to the wealthy is a much more flexible thing, I guess I would say. And so, like the example of Bezos, you can control what you turn into income. So you control, how much income you put in your tax return each year, essentially. And then there's a lot more opportunities to generate expenses, losses that can wipe out income on your tax returns. So we have examples of billionaires who end up with incomes on their tax return that have something like negative 400 million, for example. It's not a reflection of their actual situation. It's a reflection of what they're able to do through taxes. Your team also took a deep dive looking at the billionaire owners of sports teams. Let's look at one of the graphics the team prepared.
This is billionaire Steve Ballmer. He owns the LA Clippers. He pays a way lower tax rate than millionaire LeBron James. He even pays a lower rate than Adelaide Avila, a stadium worker.
Peanuts! Get your peanuts here!
He's basically dunking on the tax system. Welcome to Planet Tax Avoidance. This is a magical place where sports team owners can tell the government they make tens or even hundreds of millions less than they actually do and pay very little in taxes. And it's all perfectly legal.
So, with the basic situation where if you own a sports team, there's this thing in the tax code. This is legal. It's the way it's set up. It was a break that they got put in. Even if the sports team's doing really well, earning a lot of money, you can deduct it. You can basically deduct the cost of buying it over time. So it generates massive tax losses, even for people who are making money off their teams. Meanwhile, their players, people like LeBron James, they're getting their compensation in the form of wages, which is taxed at the top rate. So they pay a far higher tax rate than the owners. And the secretaries in the office, more than the secretaries in office. I think we give an example of someone who works in the stadium. They're just paying, they have a W-2, they're paying wages, they're paying income taxes, they're paying payroll taxes. It's all pretty straightforward. So how was your team able to get the documents, which essentially show the taxes paid by some of these super rich Americans? We obtained the information. It was sent to us. We spent a long time trying to verify it. And it was after we'd done years of coverage on the IRS and how it had been weakened by budget cuts. And it was a massive amount of data. It was a massive task just to organize it and then to make sense of it. And taxes, of course, are so complicated. So it was a real, challenge and then to boil it down for people in a way they could understand it that was clear. Well, your team did an amazing job of untangling all of that. Do you think any of this is going to lead to changes in the tax code? Well, we had some things did come out of it. So I mentioned Peter Thiel and his massive Roth IRA. There was legislation on the Hill to deal with that. Some of these loss generating tactics, there was some legislation on the table. The problem is that nothing really is passing on the Hill right now. Biden had a proposal that would have taxed unrealized gains. So it would have gotten at this problem of people like Bezos not having income on their tax return. So there are solutions to this. There are solutions talked about this in DC, but in terms of it actually passing, what passes in DC these days? I don't know. So as it stands now, some of those same tax breaks or most of those same tax breaks are still in law. Nothing's really changed, unfortunately. Well, you did a fantastic job. Hats off to you and your team for an amazing series of reports. All right, thank you.
Up next, this week's winners and losers in the media. What's going on at Netflix? You're watching Brian Ross Investigates on the Law and Crime Trial Network.
They are some of the hottest videos on social media. Those videos claiming to instantly get rid of bags under your eyes. Annette Figueroa is here to tell us why she says this one is for real.
This one is for real, and I'm so excited. Not only does it work on the bags, it works on the appearance of crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles. We even have a video, and all he uses is a small amount, and that's how easy it is. And I did this to my father. We were at home. 4 minutes, 34 seconds, completely gone.
My real true opinion is holy words I can't say on camera. This is absolutely unbelievable. I mean, I could feel it just lifting my skin. It was amazing. It feels good. Feels great. Looks even better.
At our $14.95 price, it's the best way to try Plexiderm and see it work for yourself after your first application. Your solution is at plexidermtrial.com or call the number on your screen.
This is Marianne's first time visiting Paris.
Madame, où allez-vous?
Before Marianne packed her bags, before she attempted her first sentence in French, before she completed her first 15-minute lesson,
yes,
she downloaded Babbel. Babbel helped unlock her lifelong dream of learning French. She started speaking in just 3 weeks. So when it came time to tell the cab driver to take her to the Hotel Pierre,
j'aimerais aller à l'Hôtel Pierre.
Oh, c'est très bien. J'espère que votre voyage s'est bien passé.
150 language experts and educators designed Babbel to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language. Babbel focuses on natural conversation. You'll remember what you learn, and you can speak and pronounce with confidence. Start speaking a new language in 3 weeks. Try it for free at Babbel.com.
Something's bothering my stomach. I could cut out a lot of foods or figure out what's actually bothering me before removing and adding back. I'll do that.
Calibrate is a doctor-guided weight loss program that combines virtual doctor visits, FDA-approved medication, and one-on-one video coaching to reset your metabolic system. Get back in control of your weight and your health with Calibrate. Sign up today at joincalibrate.com.
We all know that movement is like medicine, but getting the movement you need to feel better can be a challenge. Now you can keep fit while you sit with QB, the world's leading compact seated elliptical. QB gives you active sitting, letting you burn calories and keep moving in an easy and low-impact way, all while you work, read, or watch TV. QB was named a top 10 gift by Time Magazine and has been featured all over the world. It's whisper quiet while it works your abs and core, hip flexors, glutes, quads, hamstrings, and calves.
QB is a lifesaver for me.
Here's your answer to your problem.
I feel young again.
Join the hundreds of thousands of people moving more with QB. Call to find out how to get your QB with free shipping and a 30-day completely risk-free trial. You'll also get this QB workout mat free. Now keep fit while you sit with QB.
To order, call 800-289-2402. That's 800-289-2402. Call now.
I'm Jesse Weber, and you're watching Law and Crime.
Time now for this week's winners and losers in the media, as chosen by the editors of Mediaite. And we're joined by Aidan McLaughlin, who's the editor-in-chief of Mediaite, which, like the Law and Crime Trial Network, is part of the Dan Abrams Media Group. And Aidan, you've chosen as your winner this week a changing in the guard at the New York Times, a new person in the top job, perhaps the most influential job in American journalism.
That's right. So for the first time in 8 years, we have a new top editor of the New York Times. His name is Joe Kahn. And he's a fairly unassuming presence at the Times. He's had an incredible career there, picked up 2 Pulitzer Prizes for his reporting. And served as a correspondent in Beijing for the paper, then its international editor, and then its managing editor for the past couple years, serving as number 2 under Dean Baquet, who has been executive editor of the New York Times for the past 8 years, steering the paper through astonishing growth and also several controversies. Now, Dean Baquet is 65 years old this year. That means that he's at the unofficial mandatory retirement age for New York Times executive editors. So Dean Baquet is going to be retiring as executive editor in June. He will be replaced by Joe Kahn, but he's not retiring entirely from the paper. A.G. Salzberger, who is the publisher of the New York Times, said that Dean Baquet is going to have a surprising, an exciting new role at the paper when he eventually allows Joe Kahn to take over in the top editor position. And fair to say Joe Kahn is the old guard at the Times. Yeah, I think that's really what the buzz has been this week about this appointment, is that Joe Kahn is a traditional Times editor. In fact, he's exactly what you would imagine an editor of an elite institution like the New York Times has always been. He went to Harvard. He got a job at the New York Times 25 years ago and worked his way up the ladder at the Times over the course of more than 2 decades. He's also the son of the co-founder of Staples. So he not only went to an elite school, served at an elite institution like the New York Times, he's also from considerable wealth. So this is a fairly traditional selection for the New York Times, which is interesting because of how much change the paper has gone through in the last decade. And for a loser this week, you've chosen the top man at Netflix, Reed Hastings, who had to make some sobering announcements to his stockholders, sending the shares way down. Here's what he had to say.
Disney is going to be a global service, quite quickly. And there are many other global services. Remember that we compete a lot for time with YouTube. And it's not dollars because that's ad supported. But, we compete very broadly for viewing. And as Spence mentioned, our viewing on a per member basis is up.
They have not monetized 500 million viewers. I mean, what are they thinking? What are they thinking? That we won't watch an ad to see who wins in Squid Games? That they have these programs? Ozark? They could flood. I mean, the state of Missouri would probably run ads. They could sponsor it. But they're so uncreative and they're so dogmatic that they're their own. I mean, on the conference call, it was really sad because it was like, we thought we were doing well. We're not. Your sister's the fault. Your cousin. I blame your brother. Password.
So, Aidan, the long knives are out for Netflix and I guess for Mr. Hastings.
Yeah, that's true. So Reed Hastings, who has, heretofore been considered one of the most impenetrable CEOs of any company, and Netflix considered to be a true titan of streaming, announced this week that for the first time in more than a decade, they have actually lost subscribers. I have here the numbers. CNN reported that the company's stock had already dropped this year more than 40%. And it plummeted 35% on Wednesday morning, which wiped out $50 billion in market cap for Netflix. Now, that stock plummeting is the result of the service losing 200,000 subscribers in the first quarter of 2022. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot because the company has 221 million global subscribers, but it's actually fairly significant because it's the first time in 10 years that Netflix has regressed in its growth. This means a lot of different things for Netflix. It also means that Reed Hastings, who has said for years that he does not want advertising on his service, is reconsidering things like that. So it marks a big change for Netflix and a big change for streaming going forward.
So high-flying Netflix brought down to earth.
Yeah, brought down to earth considerably, and they're having to reconsider these things like advertising. They're probably going to be offering a cheaper version of Netflix that allows advertising on it. You'll be able to pay a premium to not have ads on Netflix. That's something that Reed Hastings never considered before previously. So it really shows how much the company is rattled by this news.
All right, thank you so much, Aidan McLaughlin, for being here, and thanks to all of you for joining us. That's our program for tonight. We'll see you back here again next week.
You're watching Law and Crime.